Do it. Is there a camera here?
Good afternoon and welcome to Independence High School for the 2024 Chagrin Valley Conference Wrestling Championships. We've got our first place bouts coming up in about a half an hour. Right now the placement matches are happening in the field house. What you're seeing on the mat in front of you are the wrestlers warming up for their championship bouts. Again, we'll start right around 4:15 p.m. My name is Steve Hare. I'm the Chagrin Valley Conference Sports Information Director. And joining me for a little pregame show is John Camp of the Lake County News-Herald. John, welcome. I know you've been here for the last 2 days. What do you think so far of what you've seen?
It's been a blast. I mean, we've got some really good wrestlers. I mean, the CVC was strong anyway, and then you add in some new schools like Jefferson and Conneaut, Fairview and Madison, and it just has made the tournament that much stronger. Richmond Heights is back this year at wrestling. It's been a fun couple days.
I did want to start out with that by Richmond Heights coming back. How long has it been? It's been
2008.
Wow, yeah. So it's been 16 years since the Spartans have had a wrestler have his hand held up after a match. So that was great to see yesterday. They've got a handful of kids out there. They had a little bit of success, but just having that program with so much history behind it back, that's just awesome for the sport and for the area.
It is. You look back at the history of that program, the T-shirts that they have, a resurrection of the history of this program here. The Hansons, the Podokars, the Atkins. You can just go right down the line with all of the state champions over the years from Richmond Heights. And Nick Alcanter is coming there and taking this program. He's got the blessing of the community, the school district, the alumni who have come behind him. I mean, it's just so exciting to see Richmond Heights back on the wrestling mat where they should be.
Absolutely. And, I go back to when Richmond Heights used to run that D3 Classic, which was one of the best tournaments in the state. You brought in some of the powerhouses in Division III. That was a ton of fun. And just not having that to go to anymore was always disappointing. But, it's great to have them back. And like you said, the CVC did expand. We added Madison this year. We added Jefferson, two programs that have rich histories in wrestling. We've had Trinity, who's got a little resurgence of their own going. They've got four kids in the finals tonight. I think they've already locked up that Metro Division title. So the Trojans doing well. Lutheran West, a great wrestling program. And then some of the schools that have been in the CVC for a long time that have had great wrestling programs. So a lot of quality here. What I'm really impressed with is the numbers are growing. And we had a real dip the last 5 or 6 years. Wrestling was kind of in trouble, and it's kind of great. We've got the middle school tournament going on here in the field house as well. So you see all those weight classes, a lot of kids in each one, and those kids are going to trickle up to the high school programs here in the next couple of years. So I think the forecast for wrestling is pretty strong.
And you know what they've done here with the CVC, this is how you grow a sport, to include these junior high programs in there where you've got 3 varsity mats and 3 junior high mats, so they're wrestling at the same time. These are the kids that they look up to when they look like, say you're at Perry, you've got the young Trent Nelly boy who's in 7th grade, and he looks up to the Drew Smiths and the Dominic Lamakias and the Riley Rowans. This is how you grow a sport. It's just tremendous for it. And I was so excited. A great crowd today over there. It's just a great weekend for CVC wrestling and wrestling as a whole.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into it. Let's start at 106 pounds. We'll start to preview some of these championship bouts. At 106, we've got freshman Darian Williams from Trinity. He'll face DJ Otero from Lutheran West. These guys wrestled last week in a dual meet with Williams coming out on top 7-5, so we know this one is going to be a great match, and I know both of these guys are outside of the Lake County News-Herald's coverage area. But Darian Williams, he was a 3rd place winner at the OAC State Tournament last year as an 8th grader. He is 23-3 on the year. He won the Hawken Tournament. He won the Al Pinter Memorial Tournament and the Catholic Invitational champion, and he also placed 6th at Brecksville. So, those are some quality tournaments that he's winning, and Brecksville's just brutal.
Yes.
To go out and place there as a freshman, too, is pretty impressive. DJ Otero, he's had a great season. He's 35-5 already. He was 5th at the North Coast Classic, 2nd at the Monida Invitational, 1st at Perry Pin City, 5th at the Wadverse tournament, and right now he's looking for a CVC championship. Did you get to see either of these guys over the weekend?
I did, and I thought their semifinal matches were very impressive. Williams beats Roble from one of the many Robles that have come through
Rocco,
the grassroots program. And then, Otero beats Aiden Pastor, who has wrestled a great program over Madison for the last 2 years. He's got experience and maybe even a little bit of strength on him. But Otero had both those matches in the semifinals were impressive performances to win to get to the finals.
And as you said earlier, the CVC is such a great wrestling conference. So just to get to the championship bout, it's pretty impressive. And, when you look at the 14 weight classes, I think we've got 6 or 7 guys that were in Columbus last year, a handful more that were real close, placing either 5th or 6th at the district tournament. So this is a little meat grinder in itself. And that 106 championship bout is going to be impressive. Looking at 113, we've got Xander Mooney out of Cuyahoga Heights. He's 14-7 on the year. And then Landon Rusnick from Perry, who is 20-10. Now, I know you know Rusnick quite a bit because he's in the coverage area. But just looking at this match, what do you think's going to happen?
After seeing how Rusnick did in the semis, just absolutely dominating score-wise, a 5-0 win over Colin Hearn from Berkshire. Colin went 1-2 at the state tournament last year. He's got experience on his side. Landon's only a freshman, and boy, he just came in. He really, really looked good. Especially, scoring is one thing, but Colin Herring is a very offensive type of wrestler, and that you beat him 5-0, that says a lot. I've not seen Mooney this year, but you look at that program they have at Cleveland Heights. He's going to, or Cuyahoga Heights. He's going to be the guy.
Yeah, and Mooney has 2 tournament runner-up finishes to his credit, the Al Pinter Memorial and the Maple Holiday Tournament, and he won the Columbia Invitational. And I can tell you what, the wrestling you see at that Columbia Invitational is pretty impressive when you're looking at some of the small schools, the D3 schools. So winning that tournament is impressive in its own right. So that one's going to be another interesting match to watch. Moving on to 120, we've got Lucas Eland from Lakeside against Xavier Pearson from Trinity, who is 4-0. Pearson placed 3rd at the CIT. He was a OAC state champion, so he's had quite a bit of success in his middle school career. And last year he had some struggles. This year he's back, ready to roll. And Lucas Eland, he's a guy that placed 2nd at the Heart of Ohio tournament. The Riverside Rumble, he was 2nd, and he placed 4th at the Audrey Genovese Memorial Tournament out at Orange. So another great matchup. What do you like there?
I saw Eland out at the Riverside Rumble. Really good wrestler. He's got an up-and-coming program over at Lakeside. Boy, I tell you what, Pearson, what a performance. And he beat Khalil from West Geauga in the semis. Khalil entered this tournament at 29-1.
And he was the top seed.
Yeah, and he was a top seed. It's you kind of got to go with the puppy there. He's only 4-0, but boy, he's looking good.
Well, the 126-pound championship bout is a match that we might see several times over the next couple of weeks. It's J.P. Roble from Crestwood against Riley Rowan from Perry. J.P. Roble is a 3-time state qualifier. He hasn't gotten on the podium yet. And then Riley Rowan, obviously coming from the Rowan family, he's got some talent. He was 3rd at districts last year, so another state qualifier. So you've got 2 state qualifiers trying to compete for a conference championship. What do you like in that one?
Roble's ranked 4th in the state in Division 3 in the weight class. Rowan's number 3. And so this is a top 5 matchup in the state. They're going to see each other now. Next week they're going to see each other in the regional duels, and then they're going to see each other at sectional district and state probably. We'll see how that all shakes out. So by the time they get to Columbus, there will be no secrets between these guys. The big thing about Riley Rowan is he's healthy now. He had that injury last year with his shoulder, and he had surgery right after the season. He had to wrestle almost with one arm last year at the state tournament. He went 1-2. He's a different wrestler, so you can't really look at how he did last year because he's now, it's actually his injury last year has opened him up to have to learn new moves because he couldn't use that arm last year. So I tell you what, I just like the skill set that Riley's got right now. And a lot of it was facilitated because he had to learn new stuff because he was hurt last year.
Right. And as we said, just coming from that family gives you a little edge up in any match you go out and wrestle. So yeah, that should be a good one. So all right, moving along at 132 pounds, we've got Xander Jolton from West Geauga. He's 30-4. And he'll face Jacob Straley from Lakeside, who's 25-4. These guys both were pretty impressive this season, 30 wins and 25. Jolton won the Battle by the Lake, and then he was 6th at the Josh Hepner Memorial. And looking at Straley, he was 4th at the Heart of Ohio tournament, third at Riverside Rumble, and second at the Audrey Genovese tournament. So again, guys that have had a lot of success this season. How's that one going to shake out?
Straley really impressed me in his semifinal against Lucas Spring from Perry. Yeah, Lucas Spring had a big win yesterday when he came back to beat Jack Harrison from Madison. And the thing about that is, not to get off the beaten path of the championship match here, that's a rematch in the third place match. You've got Lucas Spring against Jack Harrison from Madison. That's going to be a barn burner. But this one right here, Straley has wrestled so well, and to beat Spring, because he came in on a roll. Jolton's been a tank all year, and I just like what he said. He, beating Blair from Chagrin Falls in the semis was a big win for him. So both come in with a big head of momentum.
And that match, Straley versus Spring in the semifinals, overtime, sudden victory, 6-4. Jolton had a good semifinal match himself against Blair from Chagrin Falls. He won 9-6. So these guys had a nail-biter match in the semis coming in. They're going to be, amped up to come out and showcase their skills here in front of a big audience here in the gym after wrestling in the field house the last couple days. But, coming in, how does that help a wrestler, or does it hurt a wrestler when you've had a good match like that coming into the finals?
Depends on how you look at it. If you think that was your icing on top of the cake to win that semifinal and big match, then if this is a letdown, it better not be a letdown. When you get to these finals here, you should use a good semifinal performance to springboard into the finals. I would hope that none of these kids are looking that, man, I won my semifinal match in a big match that I might have beat a higher seed wrestler, and then this is just icing on the cake. No, right here is where you need to perform.
Right on. All right, let's move on to 138. We've got Jonathan Bissell from Jefferson, one of our new schools in the conference. He's 35-4. He was a District 10, placed fourth in District 10 in Pennsylvania last year. He won the Madison Battle by the Lake. He won Riverside Rumble, second at the Top Gun Tournament, third at the Josh Hepner Memorial Tournament, and fourth at Perry. And he will wrestle Chris Bezig from Perry, who is 23-8. He placed third at the North Coast Tournament and fifth at Penn City and sixth at the District Tournament last year.
You look at this matchup. Chris Bezig, ranked 10th in the weight class in Division 3. Bissell, ranked 8th in Division 2. I tell you what, Bissell is ranked 8th. My prediction right now, we'll revisit this in Columbus. He will be top 5 down in Columbus. He has wrestled some amazing competition. He drills a lot with another former state placer from Jefferson, Brogan Fielding, who's over at Spire now. Bissell came over from Pennsylvania. His dad went to Jefferson, but owns a maple syrup factory in Jefferson. So he said, hey, long drive back to Pennsylvania, moved his family to Ohio this year. Bissell's a tank. I tell you what, he's the deal. He will be top 5 in state.
All right, let's move on to 144. We've got Chance Schlau from Perry. He's 15-7, took third at the North Coast Classic. And he will face Addison Trisket from Madison, who is 18-5. He took second at the Battle by the Lake. He won the Rebel Invitational, and he was fourth at Kinston.
Yeah, Addison's had a great tournament. I was looking forward to that semifinal match with Alex Munn from Berkshire. So unfortunate for Alex, he injury defaulted out of that. Gosh, Alex was a beast his freshman year. It seems like for 3 straight years, it's just been one injury after another. So hard to see that. But this is one of those matches here. You got Perry versus Madison. Going into the placement matches, Perry's got a 30-point lead. I'm not saying that's unattainable, but if Madison's going to come back from that, this is one of the ones that they got to get. Trisket, he's a pinner. Schlau, he's a tough one. This is going to be a dog fight out there. One of the fun ones to watch.
Yeah, as you said, Trisket's a pinner. He came in with back-to-back pins to get to the finals. Schlau had a major decision, back-to-back major decision, sorry about that, and a 36-second pin in the quarterfinals. So he obviously has the ability to pin as well.
And something that helps Addison is, he's wrestling every day against Isaiah Seiler and against Noah Blau, who he's out on the mat right now drilling with. I mean, that just metal sharpens metal. So when you got guys like that to drill with in the room, you can't help but get together. You're either going to get better or you're going to shrink from it, and that kid's gotten better. Right,
and we talked a lot about the Madison middleweights yesterday because they come in with a lot of kids in there with a lot of potential. Some of those kids obviously are almost shoe-ins to make it to the district tournament, and then beyond that, you hope you can get them down to Columbus. But that's a pretty big group that Madison has there in the middle of their lineup.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to 150. Another great matchup here. We've got Ethan Bartlett from West Jaga. He's 28-2. He's got tournament wins at the John Matucci Memorial and the Josh Heffner Memorial Tournament. He will face Crestwood's Drake Reneker, who is a Portage County tournament champion, the KIT champion, took second at the North Coast Classic and third at Solon. So that's some darn good work there at some real good tournaments.
Yeah, you look at his resume. Right? If you look at the paper, he's the favorite. But going back to what I said about the Madison people, that Ethan Bartlett drills every day with Brian Denneman, who's we'll talk about him in a second, 165. That would be fun. I'd pay to just watch those guys go at each other in the wrestling room and practice. But I think that's going to be a great match. But with what Reneker's done this year, at a high level he's done it, probably got to go with him.
Outstanding. All right, let's move on to 157. We've got Brian Denneman from West Jaga. He's 30-5 with tournament wins at the Madison Duels. He was fourth at the Josh Hefner Memorial, second at John Matucci Classic, and third at Kinston. Last year, he placed fourth at districts. He was a state qualifier, and he's a defending champion here at the CVC tournament. He will wrestle Kyle Venzel out of Edgewood, who's 29-5. He won the Top Gun tournament, took first at the Berkshire Battle of the Belt, and he was a state alternate last year. So another matchup of state caliber kids.
I saw Venzel down at Top Gun, and he really impressed me. I mean, he was good last year. Like I said, he was a state alternate. But when you go into Top Gun and you just beat on kids, like he just beat on kids, that was impressive. That being said, Brian Denneman is such a sound wrestler, and he just doesn't make mistakes. So this will be a very powerful wrestler with Venzel, and then you've got Denneman with what he does. And on top of that, hey, Denneman's got some long-distance fans.
Rich and Marcia, grandparents down in Aruba, tuning in to CVC TV to watch their grandson go for a CVC title. So we'll talk more about the Dennemans, during our 157-pound championship bout. At 165, we've got one of those Madison kids we talked about, Noah Blau. He's 28-6. He won the Battle by the Lake. He won the Rebel Invitational and the Kinston Invitational. Took first at Pin City, sixth at the North Canton Holiday Tournament, and sixth at the Maumee Bay Classic. And he was a state qualifier last season. He will wrestle Perry's Dominic Lamacchia, who is 10-7, took fifth at Pin City, and he placed sixth at the district tournament last year. So he was knocking on the door to a state berth. How do you see this one playing out?
First of all, Noah Blau. I just love his work ethic. He's out there right now drilling, with teammate Addison Trisket. But this is the type of kid, he is so level-headed. No match is too big or too small for him. He's always level the same way. If he wins a big match, you never see him celebrate. If he loses a big match, you never see his head go down. He is always steady, always right there. I love that in the kid. And you can't really look at Dominic Lamacchia's record, 10-7, and get a good read on him. Dominic was an All-Ohio linebacker for Perry. They went to the state championship game, won a state championship. He had to heal up a little bit from that, and then he had to cut a lot of weight to get down to where he is right now. So he is right now wrestling his best. So if you just look at 30-7 with all those credentials by Noah against 10-7 with not much this year, you can't really look at that because what Dominic Lamacchia is right now is not what he was when I saw him in December. And
that's what you want. You want to grow during the season. You want to add something to your toolbox and just be ready to wrestle come February and March.
Right.
All right, 175 pounds. We've got Brandon Bruce Bay out of Trinity. He's ranked 9th in the state of Ohio. He was a state qualifier last year out of Cleveland Central Catholic. He took second at the CIT, won the Springfield tournament, and was second at the Hawken tournament. He will face Edgewood Zeke Lucas, who is 30-7, placed 7th at the Top Gun tournament, 2nd at the Berkshire Battle of the Belt, and he's a returning state qualifier.
Yeah, having that experience in Columbus means a lot. But something, Brandon Bruce Bay doesn't care where he was, where Lucas was last March. So, I think this would be a great match right here. You've got two very talented, high-energy wrestlers. I mean, someone's going to have to survive the first period here because both these guys come out of the gate so fast. You just have to avoid not running into the buzzsaw in the first 2 minutes.
Right, and so there again, two state qualifiers coming back to go head-to-head for a conference title. That just, again, tells you how tough it is to win a conference title in the Chagrin Valley Conference. All right, let's move on to 190. We've got Cameron Carter out of Trinity. He's 21-4. He won the Hawken Invitational. He won the Al Pinter Memorial. tournament, and he was third at the Catholic Invitational tournament. He was a district qualifier last year, and he's ranked 7th in Ohio. And 190, I think we have a mistake here. Yeah, we've got Webster out of Jefferson. That is Matt Webster. He is 24-5. He's a sophomore coming out of Jefferson. So we had a sheet for Kenny Pavlis, but on the bracket it's got Webster. So we'll have to confirm that. But do you know offhand?
Yeah, Webster did win that.
Webster did win.
I saw that. I saw Webster down at Top Gun, and he was in the semis. And you get in the Top Gun before. That's a heck of a tournament. And I saw him down there. I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, I think everybody in the gym was like, who is Jeff Webster? I mean, so great performer. And if he was able to beat Kenny Pavlison, but that's a great win for him. So I mean, it's gonna be a really good match there. I think that Trinity's got a great year, and you look at that young man who he gets to wrestle with every day in the room. That's just how you get better. Absolutely. And Cameron Carter coming in, like I said, he's got a couple of 3 tournament wins to his credit. That helps. You start to build some momentum throughout the season. The confidence follows. So yeah, that should be a great match at 190. And now at 215, we've got Blake Welker out of West Geauga. He is a freshman. He's 28-11. He took 2nd at the Matucci tournament, 6th at Kenston, and 7th at the Josh Hefner Memorial. He will face Abby Ortiz out of Lakeside, who is 24-8. He took 3rd at the Heart of Ohio tournament, 5th at the Riverside Rumble, 2nd at the Audrey Genovese tournament, and is a Viper Pit All-American. Yeah, Ortiz, tremendous credentials coming in here. He'll get the upper hand just because he has all that experience. But I tell you what, about Blake Welker, one of the hardest things to do in wrestling is being upperweight as a freshman, because you're usually wrestling dudes that are more physically strong, probably more physically developed, muscle tone than you are, because they got you by maybe up to 2 or 3 years. So it's interesting. I bet a lot of people here are looking at that and wondering who this young man from West Geauga is. I guarantee you that he's looking forward to continue to make a name for himself. Oh, yeah, and as you said, being a freshman at 190, the difference there could be you're wrestling a senior who's only 3 or 4 years older than you, but the strength that comes with that, and you get that speed. But obviously, he's not been outmatched. He hasn't been out physical, so he can hold his own as a freshman, and that just bodes well for his future. Absolutely. All right, and then another great matchup at heavyweights. We've got Will Greenberg out of Hawken. He is 21-2 on the year, or 27-2, sorry. He won at Berkshire. He won at Barnesville. He was 4th at Top Gun. He won the Hawken tournament, and he was a state alternate last year. And he's going to wrestle from Harvey, Marvin Guerra, who is 21-4, 5th at Madison, won the Rebel tournament, 1st at the Maple Heights tournament, and the Dale Carroll Invitational, he was 3rd. He's a returning district qualifier. I saw his losses, and he lost to Antonio Petigi from Riverside, who's a 3rd-ranked Division I wrestler in the state and has heavyweight. He has got so much physical strength, and I'm not saying that Marvin doesn't, but you just look at he's 265, 270 pounds, and he's cut. He's really chiseled. And if he gets the hat, he can beat you in so many ways. If he throws you, he's got that low center of gravity. If he gets you in a headlock, he's that strong. When he's in the top position and he's got the half in, you probably don't have a choice. You're going over. Marvin Guerra is just going to have to stay away from a lot of that stuff. Don't tie up with him a lot. If you can get Will Greenberg in the down position, work him a little bit. But boy, I tell you what, two great heavyweights. Greenberg's ranked 9th in the state in Division II. Guerra's 15th in the state in Division II. So these are guys that we might see face off at you again down the road. Right. Yeah, and a lot of these guys are going to see each other in the postseason several times, just because a lot of our teams are in the same district or even the same sectional. So a lot of those tournaments are just CVC, tournament extensions. And but it's great to see, because the CVC has always had great wrestling. You go back to when Aurora and Kenston were in the league, and just so many quality wrestlers have come out of this conference. Beechwood has had its moments. We talked about Richmond Heights earlier. Great to see them back. But when you look at the 14 weight classes, which one do you think is going to be the best matchup of the night? I think the best matchup of the night should be at 126.
Yeah, I agree.
With J.P. Robo and Riley Rowan. I mean, those two guys are high-level dudes that they're going to – don't be surprised if you see those guys on the top 2 steps in Columbus this year. But they're just that good. That's really a marquee match here. I think that Besdig and Bissell could be a really good one.
Right.
Blau and Lamakia at 165. Lamakia did himself a favor by coming up from 157. He played football about 175. That was a tough cut for him to get down. He just looks better. He looks more comfortable at 65. I think up top, you got the big guys. Usually in a tournament, you don't see 2 state-ranked heavyweights face off in a conference tournament, and these are 2 really good ones.
Absolutely. I think 106 is going to be fun to watch just because they're so imaginative. These guys they create moves, and watching Darian Williams yesterday, just some of the things that he's able to do, the way he shifts his hips and controls his body and his opponent's body, that's going to be fun to watch. There are just so many great matchups. It's hard to pick one that I think is going to be the top, but I agree with you on that 126. Anytime you get a couple of state qualifiers coming back to go head-to-head, and they're seniors and ready to go out with a bang. So this is a big moment for both of those guys. Not that it's not for the other 13 weight class finalists, but that matchup should be great. The heavyweight is going to be a lot of fun to watch just to see how they play that one out. Because, with heavyweights, and I talked about this in media day with all these guys, no matter how good you are at heavyweight, you're never out of a match, whether you're down or whatever, just because one false move, it's hard to get a guy that size off of you if you end up on your back. So, that's the one nice thing about watching heavyweights is, there's a lot of pushing and tugging, and, you don't see the same type of moves that you do in the lower weight classes, but it's fun and seeing the different strategies that they employ just because it's all about leverage and getting your body in the right place when it comes to guys that big. So that should be fun to watch. But, John, any last thoughts for you before I put you back to work?
I just want to thank the CVC for everything they do. What a cutting-edge conference that we are blessed to be a part of. Well, you do a tremendous job with all these media days that you do for these young men and young women. I mean, to have we talked about a little bit ago, to have that junior high right next to the varsity today. I mean, that was who does that? No, the CVC does it. Usually, most of the stuff that you see happen that's cutting edge, the CVC is right on top of it. So kudos to Commissioner Doc Lewis and his staff and you, Steve, for what you do, because it really makes the CVC the envy of so many conferences around the state.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to mimic some of the stuff that you see in college and in the pros, and we're bringing that down to the high school level. CVC TV, getting out and streaming a game of the week every week, a couple of basketball games. We do our swim meets we've done in the past. This is the first year doing wrestling because we finally were able to convince them to have a little bit of a break so we could have the championships in the main gym to stream it. And, it takes a lot of work from a lot of different people, and we've got to give a big shout out to the crew here at Independence for making it all work, not just putting together the stuff in the field house, but they had a basketball game last night. So, Joe Durney, the athletic director here, he's been running all over the place. He's probably lost 10 pounds just in his cardio he's done in the last 2 days, but they've been busy. Ken DeAngelis, the head coach here at Independence, doing a great job putting the tournament together. They've had a lot of help. The hospitality room is amazing. Some great food in there, taking care of the coaches and the officials and us media personnel. So that's always great to see when you don't have to worry about trying to feed yourself during a busy day. But yeah, we are trying to be cutting edge here in the Chagrin Valley Conference. I think we've done a pretty good job, and we got a whole lot of stuff on the horizon yet. So more is coming.
That's good to hear. It's going to be a fun final round here tonight, and we're just going to enjoy some great wrestling.
Outstanding. John, I appreciate you stopping in, folks. There's nobody in Ohio that covers high school wrestling better than John Camp. He's an encyclopedia. He can tell you about guys from back in the mid-'80s, and he just does a fantastic job. So, John, thanks for being here to cover the tournament. Thanks for joining me on the pregame show, and just thanks for doing what you do for high school wrestling. It's amazing.
I appreciate it very much, but you know something? You are the man. What you do for these kids and every single sport for the CVC, I admire it a lot. So thanks for everything you do.
Checks in the mail, John. Checks in the mail. I appreciate it. All right, folks, that was John Camp here joining me, Steve Hare, the CVC Sports Information Director, for a pregame show heading into our championship matches here at the CVC Wrestling Tournament. Looks like our 4:15 timeline was a little bit optimistic. We still are probably 10 or 15 minutes away from starting, so I am going to take a quick break, and we will be back. We will be back as soon as the championship matches start.
Well, they're probably going to do.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Independence High School for the championship round of the 2024 Chagrin Valley Conference Wrestling Championships. I'm Steve Hare, the CVC Sports Information Director, and joining me in the broadcast today is Independence Assistant Coach Brian Vitrone. We will be back momentarily after the national anthem. Okay, we're back, folks. We're ready to rumble here at Independence High School for the championship round of the 2024 Chagrin Valley Conference Wrestling Championships. Once again, I'm Steve Hare, the CVC Sports Information Director, and joining me on the broadcast today is Independence Assistant Coach Brian Vitrone. Coach, thanks for being here. You've been out here all 2 days. You saw a lot of wrestling. What do you make of this? This has been an outstanding tournament so far. I talked with John Camp from the Lake County News-Herald earlier. Numbers are up. The quality is up. This conference is in good shape right now.
Yeah, well, first, thanks for letting me come and be here with you. Thanks for doing this. Yeah, the tournament's been great. It's been well run. A lot of good wrestling, high quality wrestling. You can see the numbers being there and just the excitement in this corner of the state where wrestling is a hotbed, and it's no more evident than what we're going to see today.
Yeah, and, you know, one of the cool things is we have Richmond Heights wrestlers for the first time in, I believe, 16 years. The program's back, so that's great to see. You've got, you know, we added Madison and Jefferson, who bring a wealth of wrestling talent to the conference. So a great wrestling conference, got even better. But here we go, 106 pounds. We're going to start out with Darian Williams from Trinity. He's in the blue. And he will face DJ Otero from Lutheran West, who's got the black and red singlet. I hope my guess on the ankle brace bands were correct. And yes, Darian Williams is green and DJ Otero is red, and we are underway here.
So Darian's been around a long time. I've been watching him in youth, and he has been tearing it up in the youth level. He's a very solid wrestler, technically sound. And you have Lutheran West. They run a really good program there. Coaches are really good, so this should be a good matchup.
I agree, and they wrestled last week in a dual meet with Williams coming out on top 7-5. So Otero's got revenge on his mind. Hard to beat a good wrestler twice, and we'll find out if Darian Williams can do it. He was third in the state as an 8th grader, the OAC championships last winter. So here we go. Little hand fighting right there, tied up on the head. You can look under there. Otero's got the chin as well and an arm. There's Williams trying to take a shot on the leg.
Yeah, you don't want to stop wrestling on the edge. That's one of the biggest mistakes a lot of young wrestlers make. They want to stop there. They think take a break. So if you can take advantage on the edge, you'll be in really good shape.
Yeah, and these are two great wrestlers. They're going to see each other quite a bit here as the postseason gets underway.
So right there, Darian really wants to get his head to the other side. He wants to be on the underhook side. Gives him a little bit better positioning to hit that ankle pick he was trying for.
We'll see if these guys can kick off the postseason with a conference title. Once again, Otero in the black and red singlet. Darian Williams from Trinity in the blue and gray. Shout out to our cameraman, Jose, Independence wrestler, taking some time out to bring to you folks a great wrestling tournament here. This is the championship round of the 2024 Chagrin Valley Conference Championships, presented by Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery.
So right there, Otero's trying to keep position on the head, try to get him to come up, trying to get Darian to come out of that stance. He's staying in that nice low stance, keeping his stance solid, and really protecting below the knee area.
Fewer than 30 seconds remain here in the first period of this 106-pound bout. Tied up again. Both wrestlers feeling each other out. Once again, they're not unfamiliar with each other. They wrestled last week in a dual meet. Williams came out on top, 7-5.
So what I would have liked to see, he was trying to throw it by there, got on the edge. See, he didn't stop wrestling there. What I'd really like to see Darian do is when he's in on that underhook, really circle to that side, get him this step if he's looking for that. He's looking for that knee pick. You really want to circle to the underhook side. That'll get him the step, and then it will open up that knee ankle pick he's looking for.
Second period getting ready to begin. Otero in the bottom position. And we're going to have our first point of the match. I unfortunately had a 2 on there for Otero. It is now a 1-point escape.
Yeah, Darian electing to go on his feet feels like he's getting to his offense that he wants to get to, so he feels he's going to be a little bit more comfortable getting that, looking for a takedown than giving something crazy up from the top position.
He's got that front headlock in right now. That's tough to get out of.
Yeah.
Otero finds a way with 1:38 remaining here in this second period. Otero now leading 1-0 after the escape, the uncontested escape.
So really good hand fight and positioning going on by both wrestlers. They're staying right in the center of the mat where you want to be, so you have the whole mat open to you to score when an opportunity arises.
After that tie-up, it looks like Otero's kind of playing it close to the vest there, keeping his hand on Williams' head just to keep a little distance. He didn't like being tied up.
And so he's trying to stay heavy on the head, and what he's trying to do is to get Darian to come out of his position, get a little bit tall, and is to open up a shot for himself.
.48 seconds remain here in the second period. Otero leading 1-0, 0-0 in the first period. So now we've got 42 seconds here.
So Otero's got to be a little bit more active with his hands. You know, you got to do more to get him to come out of that stance. See how he opened it up right there?
Oh, that was nice.
Nice little hand fight, open it up, got Otero out of position, and locked up that cradle for the first takedown of the match. And here we go. Now we're going to get some backs going.
Point.
2 back points. Very nice. See, you got him to come out of that stance and reacting. Got the reaction he was looking for and was able to get the 2.
And that's what I saw out of Williams yesterday, just some creativity in his wrestling.
You know, like I said, I've watched him in the youth growing up and stuff, and I've had an opportunity to watch him grow as a wrestler. He's very patient. He's deliberate with his shots. He has good technique. And he has fun. You know, this sport's tough enough when you're not having fun, but he always looks to have fun. Usually always has a smile on his face. So he's a solid wrestler, well coached by the guys at Trinity.
I just remember media day. He came in, and I don't often see freshmen come out to media day. So I asked him. I said, "Well, you're a freshman out at media day. Coach must think awfully highly of you." And he was just a confident kid. He wasn't cocky. He's just like, "Hey, I'm going to come out. I want to win a state title." And I'm like, "Well, you're a freshman. It's great to have that ambition." But so far, he's backed it up, and he's kind of proven this year that he is one of those elite wrestlers.
Yeah, he made if I remember correctly, he made the semifinals at the Brecksville Holiday Tournament. Ran in, Brecksville Holiday is pretty tough. I think he ended up 6th, so he had some struggles. That's a tough tournament. Placing 6 is there's state placers that don't place 6 in that tournament. He did as a freshman. Expect high things from this young man.
And he also won the Catholic Invitational Tournament, so he's had a great season so far as a freshman, and I know he's got some pretty big goals.
So I like what Otero did there. He didn't stop wrestling. Tried to get that one more point, get that escape, so he's ready to go. He's within a takedown.
4-2. I'm a little tardy on my scoreboard, folks, but it is 4-2. So Darian Williams in the lead.
So you elected to take Nutra there. He has taken him down. He was able to get the takedown to his back. Feels pretty confident on his feet. And he stays in very good position. So Otero's going to have to get him moving and get him off his base so that he can open up the scoring attacks on his own.
As you said, this is a rematch of a dual meet from last week. Williams came out on top, 7-5. Oh, Otero looking to sneak behind for a takedown. Williams, nice way to kind of counter that. Oh, tries a throw there off another shot from Otero.
So right now, Darian's keeping good position. His head's right where it needs to be. He's trying to climb that arm to get to a shot, and he's forcing Otero into a mistake. And that's what you want to do when you're ahead and you're wrestling a guy that's a solid wrestler like Otero. You don't want to make a mistake that puts you in a bad spot. So he's staying good technique, trying to force Otero to make a mistake.
Under a minute remaining in the match. Otero now has the clock working against him. He's going to need a takedown to tie this up.
So right now, Otero's got a stall call too, so he has to open it up a little bit more than Darian does. Darian's got a stalling call to give. Not that you got to know situations like this late in the match. What do I have to give in a match? Like, Darian does not need to score. Look how solid he is, even in that front headlock position. He's not panicking. He's staying square. He's got his hand on that elbow and keeping it.
20 seconds remain as the wrestlers roll out of bounds. Williams still on top, 4-2.
That's a good idea by Otero. Try a little bit of a throw, something fancy, flashy right there. If you don't score it, you're going to go out of bounds. But if you can hit it, you're right there to score the points. And you had to try something.
Yeah, it's just not brute strength out there, folks. There's a lot of strategy too. And that's going to do it, folks. Darian Williams is your 2024 Chagrin Valley Conference champion at 106 pounds. Darian Williams from Trinity is your conference champion.
Solid match wrestled by him. Technically sound. He did what he needed to do. Took advantage of Otero's really one mistake in the second period that allowed him to get that takedown and put him to his back. Solid job. Waited for his opportunity. That's what you got to do sometimes when you're wrestling a solid kid.
All right, and at 113 pounds, we've got Landon Rusnick from Perry. He's 20-10 against Xander Mooney from Cuyahoga Heights. He's 14-7, both wearing the white singlets. Rusnick has the pirate on the right side of his singlet, and Mooney is in the white singlet with the red stripes. And there, looks like we're going to have our first takedown of the match from Rusnick. He's on top, 2-0, 15 seconds into this 113-pound bout.
So Perry's a solid program, well coached by Coach Rowan over there. These guys are in your face the whole match. They're going to go. Their motors are high. They're ready to roll. Mooney's a solid wrestler himself. We've had some experience with him this weekend and in a duel where our guys they've split this year. Mooney's having a heck of a tournament, and he's got a tall task here with Perry, but he should be up for it.
And we're back. Minute 22 left in the first period. Rusnick up with that first takedown. He leads 2-0. Mooney trying to work his way out the back door. He's going to start shaking here in a moment to try and get that head free.
So what Rusnick really should do here, he's in that half deep, but he's not turning. He should stick that inside knee right where he's going to do and pull him right over just like that. Ramp, we call that like a ramp. We ramp him over to get him extended to take him off his base a little bit. He was in there pretty solid. If he had just taken it just maybe a couple more inches, he might have been able to get it. He's doing some good chain wrestling. He's changing off to an armbar there. He's going to try to work something else. He's looking to score. He's just not camping out there.
Oh, nice. Mooney almost got free, but Rusnick on the spot right there. Grabbed that leg to secure the control. And they did give him an escape.
No, he got a
that was a hand. Right,
hand,
I got you. I forgot about that. Okay, we got to update my scoreboard.
So Mooney's doing a nice job moving. Okay, you can't you've got to try to post there. You got to get your arm back. When you're on bottom, the last thing you want to do is give up your arm like that. You want to try to get it back and keep moving. He's moving to his feet, trying to get to his feet.
Rusnick doing a great job of maintaining control without. Oh, they did call him for stalling. I was just about to say without getting called for stalling.
Yeah, he kind of pushed him right out there. That's a real judgment call. You see that a lot during a match. Sometimes you get called. It just depends on the situation, how that might play out. But Mooney did a nice job there. He did give up that early takedown early on, but kept moving and tried to get out. Got to his feet a few times. So he's in this match. He's just got to stay solid.
Rusnick will start the second period in the down position. Mooney on top. Mooney trailing 2-1. Going to look for some back points here. Never matters where we put the cameras. The referees always stand right in front of them.
They always seem to find a way to get themselves involved.
Every single time. I've got two cameras at different angles, and sometimes they're in front of both of them.
That's right. That's right. It's almost like they need an earpiece. Hey, we need you to move to the left or the right. So Mooney, Cuyahoga Heights doing a nice job. He's trying to break him down. He's working on that spiral ride. Looking like he's trying to extend him. So what you don't want to do, you don't want to get too high when the guy comes up on a quad pod situation there. You don't want to get too high and inadvertently give a reversal. You know the old rule we always tell as coaches: one, not two. One, not two. Doesn't always work out that way.
Well, I remember from back in the day, you often don't hear your coaches, and so no matter how loudly they scream and yell, sometimes you just don't hear them, and sometimes you have a better idea, at least in your head.
Right. In my mind, that went so much better. So right here, right now, Mooney's really got to try to get his hips back on top. He's in a 50-50 situation. So right there, that was a tough situation. If he could have got his hips up.
Rusnick looking for the 2. Are they going to give him 1? Oh, we've got some injury time here. So we'll have a short stoppage of play. As
I think we're on some blood time there.
Right, yeah, Mooney's going to have to get cleaned up.
Right there, Mooney was in a good position to
Did they give him a reversal? Is that what they did?
Yeah, they gave him a reversal, and he should have got 2 back. So in that situation, you got to get your hips up. They always say higher guy wins there. If he could have got his hips back and square the mat, you may only give up an escape there. But that was a 50-50 positions, and Just as that position says, 50-50, it can go either way. Unfortunately for Mooney, it went the wrong way for him. Right. So he's got an uphill climb now.
Okay, so now they've changed the score. It's 6-1, so they gave Rusnick
2 reversal and 2 back.
A reversal and 2 back. Okay, so yeah, they had the scoreboard incorrect. I thought I was wrong, but I thought they were giving Rusnick the points. So Rusnick's up 6-1, 46 seconds remaining here in the second period over Xander Mooney from Cuyahoga Heights.
Oh, here we go. Very nice. He did that nice little Grammy roll to get out, got a reversal. That was critical in this moment of the match to try to close the distance a little bit.
Absolutely, and there as a coach, in the last 30 seconds, you're just hoping, hey, maybe get one. Instead, take the 2 and maybe get some back points on top.
He's got to ride tough here. He cannot give. I don't want to give up an escape with 20 seconds left. I want to stay solid here. I want to keep this a 3-point match as best I can. So right here, one of them's got to get their higher chest wins here. Higher chest wins here will win this scramble a little bit. So here we go, right there. Oh, if he settles back, we should get some back points here. A little excitement. All right, that was great wrestling. One of the things we talk to our kids about, too, is like whatever happens in the match, score the next point, whatever it is. In that situation for Xander, it was get a reversal. So he closes the distance. If he can get to his feet, we're a 2-point match. Another reversal, we're in a 1-point match. He's in this.
6-3 as we start this third period. Rusnick on top. He was up 6-1. Mooney got that reversal late in the second. Almost got some back points. But Mooney's got some work to do here in the third against a very tough opponent.
So you got to keep in mind here, Rusnick has been called for stalling, so he can't just camp out on top. He's got to look to score and improve.
Absolutely. And with a 3-point lead, it's not quite as a desperate situation, but you give up, a stalling point. You don't want to give free points at any point.
Especially in a championship match with two tough kids going at it. A reversal and a stalling and then a reversal, we're at a tie match. Instead of it.
And Rusnick looking for some back points.
He's going to get some back there. Looks like Mooney misread the back pressure that he was getting to try to stand up, and Rusnick just stepped back and sucked them back a little bit.
1:09 remaining.
So now Xander's really got to get to his feet, and he's got to look for something.
Rusnick with some great hip action there.
Definitely way to roll with the situations, understanding the situation that at this point in the match, a 6-point lead, really the only thing that Xander has left is a 5-point move to his back to try to hit a home run. Pesky refs in the way again.
Both cameras too. We just have no recourse here.
So you got to wrestle on the edge there. So 33 seconds left. This has been a really good match. It's a lot closer, in my opinion, than the score indicates. Just a minor miscalculation on back pressure when he was trying to stand up really opened this match up. So look, he's trying to set that Granby up.
Oh, and he's got it. Can he get the 2?
So he's going to get 2 here almost for sure. He was trying to hook that arm to have enough to put him back.
Down 4, you got to kick him and go.
So the Heights coaches, Xander looking for him to come out. Really, that's not really what they wanted. I think what they really wanted was a mixer, a front headlock and an underhook to a mixer position. They need something to his back.
That'll do it. Landon Rusnick from Perry is your 113-pound champion of the Chagrin Valley Conference.
That was a solid match between 2 good competitors. Those guys will meet again at districts.
For sure. So at 120 pounds, we've got Xavier Pearson from Trinity and from Lakeside, Lucas Eland. Pearson looks like he's going to wear the red band, so I've got to swap out my red and green. Lucas Eland will be the green ankle bracelet. Oh, and it looks like we're going to have a forfeit here, so your champion at 120 pounds is Xavier Pearson of Trinity.
Yeah, that's it's unfortunate. Those guys, those Trinity guys, like I said before with Darian, they're well coached and they're fun to watch, and they're never really out of a match. So
Rowan will wear the green. This is your 126 bout.
So I'm thinking both of these guys, if I remember, are both state qualifiers.
They
correct?
are. This is a matchup
this
of
is a
back-to-back state qualifiers. J.P. Robles, a 3-time state qualifier.
He was the conference champ last year, if I'm not mistaken. I think he wrestled Charlie Meyer last year for the conference. Rowan, again, Perry, well coached. So these are two high-quality kids. We're either going to see a lot of scoring or a one-point match.
Yeah, and ironically, this is the first matchup between these two wrestlers, despite being in the same conference, wrestling near the same weight class for 3 years, and now in the fourth, they finally meet head-to-head.
I think one of the things, Rowan probably grew into this weight class, and JP has just made a commitment to stay down.
He stayed there, and you're right. Rowan was a little bit lighter the last few years.
So you see right there with that underhook dug in, JP is keeping a hand on that elbow, keeping it solid, not letting them dig that in and move them around. So they're sizing each other up. You know, they're going to some good hand fighting in there.
Under a minute here in the first period. One of our highlighted matchups here at 126 pounds. 2 state qualifiers going head-to-head, trying to win a conference title.
So again, he's in on that underhook, and JP's doing a nice job trying to keep that underhook tight, pulling it tight to loosen it up so Rowan can't jack it up to get to where he wants. But Riley is trying to stretch him out. I know it looks like he's bouncing the head off the mat, but he's trying to stretch it out to open him up to get to maybe a go behind of some sort. JP was called for stalling. I think that might have been a little early. 2 quality guys, but he hasn't really engaged in a lot of offense. I understand why the ref did it. I don't really like that call.
I didn't either, and you see that a lot of times in matches where you have 2 great guys where they're just kind of feeling each other out, and one gets hit for stalling so early, and it's like, well, neither of them have really managed much of anything. But yeah, that's one of those situations I think the refs are a little bit too quick to call that stall.
So JP's up to his feet. He wants to stay up there now. He's got to break hands. He's blocking back.
Rowan in the white singlet, Roble in the black.
So I know the Crestwood coach was calling for a stalling when Rowan's up. Here's the call with that. When you're on top, you have to make an attempt to return. So that's a referee's judgment, just like the first stalling call. And the reason they're calling for that stall is because they feel they were unjustly called for stalling in the first period.
Right.
But if JP gets to his feet again and there's not a real attempt to bring him down, I bet that stalling call comes out.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's what a lot of people don't understand when you hear them yelling from the bleachers about stalling. It's about an attempt.
Right.
And there's guys that ride hips, but there's guys that are also trying to make an attempt to
Right.
turn or return. And, so it comes down to that, like you said. It comes down to the official and their discretion. But
see, here they are right there. See, Riley smartly let him go because he knew he was probably going to get called for stalling if he hung on there too long. He'd give up the one. Instead of giving up that stalling call, which should come into play later in the match. Sometimes it's hard to read a guy's style too, because JP looks like he does a lot of stuff from a knee position. So sometimes it gives a false impression he's not doing anything. But that's just a stylistic thing, and you have to understand that that guy does that.
and you hear the referee now calling for action, and both guys just locked up again, just feeling each other out.
JP has to be careful here. You're on the edge. You got to work your way in. You've been called for stalling. You can't hang there. You got to move. You got to turn in. You got to turn you got to turn towards the circle. So he did a nice job there. So it was a nice little scramble, but JP's got to do a better job understanding situations. I'm on the edge. When the referee's calling action, I've given up that stalling call. I've got to turn my back. I got to try to get my back to the center of the circle. This is a really tough match here. You know, like you said it a couple times, state qualifiers. You know, this could be a go-to match at districts.
Absolutely.
This could be a district championship match.
And they're definitely going to see each other several times over the course of the postseason.
And, you know, the other thing, this could be a placement match, blood round match at the state tournament. Who places? These two could be wrestling. So again, right here, JP's got to don't let the stall call enter your head, but you've got to be aware. Like if you can't turn them, like I can't spend, you know, I gotta get a quick mat return here. I can't hang out there forever. The last thing you want to do as JP is not give up a stalling call, then an escape.
Got a potentially dangerous situation there. Stoppage of the match. No point awarded, not illegal, just potentially dangerous.
So one of the things we try to tell our kids and what we tell other kids and what they should be focused on, there's got to be a first move, whatever that is. The last thing you want to do, like you don't want to see a kid put his head down on the mat. That can't be your first move. A knee slide, a changeover, short sit, something that gets the guy off your hips so you can move.
Nice return there, a little physical for Roble. Yeah, this is one of those matches we're going to see sectionals, district, not sectional. They'll be they'll be in the same sectional.
So he got a little high there with that leg, and now he's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to figure out what he wants to do here. Try to slip 2 legs back in, but he's got to square up because right here, he's got to hang on to that leg. No change yet.
That's why you always hear coaches, 1, not 2, 1, not 2.
That's right. That was critical right there. You know, sometimes too, Riley might have been better. Just get my one. Just get my one. Tie this match up. So here's the other thing too for JP now. He's committed to this top ride. You know, he's going to have to wrestle hard here. A ride out for the next 30 is going to win him a conference title, but he cannot be lax here.
Oh, they didn't like that.
Oh, that's a tough one. So here's the thing for JP. He's got a couple things working for him and against him. One of the things, he's been riding solid. Riley's had some opportunities, but hasn't been able to capitalize. JP's very solid on top, but he has to worry about that stalling call. If he doesn't do enough, does he give up that stalling call?
25 seconds for Rowan to get out or get that
reversal. So right here, he needs to arch his back. He's in a good position right now. 18 more seconds. This is a good ride. He's got to get to the side. You know, again, he's going to have to go for something big. He needs to get that one. This was a solid match, very solid match, wrestled by 2 good wrestlers. Here's the other reason why I don't like that stalling call in the first period. You call that stalling call, then you never go back to it. Now, I'm not saying JP stalled at all. I think he wrestled a solid match. He did what he needed to do. I don't think that last period was stalling. I came from Pennsylvania. That would definitely not have been called for stalling on top. And that was a solid ride between wrestlers with 2 quality guys. That's what happens sometimes.
Right.
You're wrestling a solid guy, you might not get a turn. But I'm not letting them up either.
All right, 132-pound championship bout from West Jaga, Xander Jolton in the blue singlet. And from Lakeside, Jacob Straley in the green. Straley comes in at 25-4, Jolton 30-4. So both of these guys with plenty of quality wins this year. Jolton won the Battle by the Lake. He was 6th at the Josh Hefner Memorial. Straley was 4th at the Heart of Ohio tournament, 3rd at the Riverside Rumble, and took 2nd at the Audrey Genovese tournament.
Jolton had him in a little bit of a situation, but Jacob was able to get out of it. So we're still in a scramble. No points have been awarded yet. This is a nice little scramble. Nice change off to a double. He needs to lift him and turn him inside. You got to score here. See right there? Oh, that's a tough one. Scoring on the edge, so important right there. He didn't stop wrestling on the edge. It looked like Jacob took a little bit of a break there because he thought he was going to get out, and he unfortunately gave up the takedown there. But again, going back to the edge, score the next point. That's a tough takedown to give up. There you go. He got back to his feet. Get back on your feet. That's a good job.
It's Jolton on top. Jolton's in red. Sorry about that. I had that backwards.
So what you don't want to do, you want to keep moving. You got into a nice shot. You got into a good scramble. I want a hand fight here. I want to wear this guy down. Both guys. I want to be hand fighting. Because if I hand fight hard in the first period, my hand fight's a lot easier in the third period.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the score is. They just changed it to 2-1.
He got out. So. See right there, end of the period. Are we going to get a score here? This is good. Wrestle through the period. So he switched off again. Oh, man, he gave up that double. He gave up his positioning, which is tough.
So Jolton leading 2-1 after the first period. On to the second. Eland will start in the down position. Quick caution there, quick whistle. Incorrect lineup procedure there.
So he's got that arm bar in there, trying to get to that, lock that wrist up for a cross wrist tilt. So what Jacob needs to do, he needs to get back to his base. He's got to get his arm free, get that bar out. He needs to get back to his feet. Did a nice job in the first period after giving up that takedown. He got right back to his feet. So right here, I want to be building my base. I got my arm free. I want to get back to my base so I can work my stand-up. Jolton wants to keep him down. He should be looking for a wrist here to try to turn him just like that. See?
There's the two for Eland. Whoa. Jolton went for a little bit of a ride there. So we've got 3-2. We've got a question from the coach. Try and get this situation sorted out. 3-2. Jacob Straley leads. He's from Lakeside. Xanders Jolton from West Yaga got that first takedown. Straley got the escape and then a reversal a little bit later.
So again, right here for Jolton, you were in control of the match. No need to panic here. A stand up in it, any type of a score puts you back. Either ties the match or scores it. What you want to just stay solid. But Jacob from Lakeside, he wants to keep him down. He wants to put some pressure on. This is his opportunity to try to get a turn. Came out a little too far up front, let him get that leg. So
there's Jolton with another takedown. Right back into the match, and he now has the lead, 4-3, with 20 seconds left here in the second period of this 132-pound championship bout.
So there was that situation of 1 not 2. You got into a scramble, you're in a bad position, you were in a little bit of a tough position, maybe a bad position. You just push away, give up the one, just give up the escape. Now you're tied. Now you're back down at the end of a period. Scoring at the end of the period is so critical. It wins you and loses you so many matches.
All right, starting this third period, Jolton will be in the down position, looking for that quick escape to take a 5-3 lead if he can get it. Straley's got to start thinking back points.
So what I'd be looking to do as a coach if I was Coach, you know your wrestler. So if he's solid on top, I'm going to give him a little bit longer time to try and turn him. If you can't turn him within 30, 45 seconds, I got to put him on his feet. I got to say, hey, you got to put him on your feet, and we got to go with takedown.
Yep. I always looked at that last minute. If you can't get the turn by the minute, you let him up and go for the takedown. Some coaches will let it go down to 30 seconds, but I want as much time on my feet as possible.
I agree. You want the most time you can, because at that point that guy's thinking, I can't get taken down, and you get him in the wrong mindset of defending, and you might be able to open something up that ordinarily wouldn't be there.
Another question for the scorer's table.
Oh, we got some blood time.
Oh, is that blood?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I saw Coach walking over to ask a question, but apparently it was blood. All right.
Yeah, they're going to clean them up.
Up next, we've got the 138-pound bout, which is Jonathan Bissell from Jefferson. He will wrestle Perry's Chris Bezig. So we've got another great match there at 138. This is the 132-pound championship. West Jaga's Xander Jolton leads Lakeside's Jacob Straley here 4-3. We've got 1 minute and 15 left in this bout. All of our broadcasts on CVC TV are presented by Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Don Lewis, one of the partners in that organization, also is the commissioner of the Chagrin Valley Conference. And we can't tell you how much we appreciate their support of CVC TV and the conference as a whole. That support allows us to do so many cool things here in the conference. If you listen to the pregame show, you heard John Camp of the Lake County News Herald say the CVC is on the cutting edge. And that's exactly where we want to be.
So exactly what we were talking about before the break, when you put him on his feet, and Lakeside decided it's time to go on our feet and try to get that takedown to tie it up and try to push this overtime, or have something else open up, or maybe he puts him to his back. So I think that was the right decision. You had a minute or so to try to turn him. It didn't work out. Now let's go on our feet.
Yep. And, if you had more success in the first period on your feet, maybe you go down to 30 seconds.
Right.
But without a takedown in the match, you need a little bit more time.
Right. And you got to open it up here. Right now, Lakeside's got to open it up. Got to take good shots. We tell the kids, don't let the other guy dictate your shot. And it looked like right there he kind of let West Jaga dictate his shot. But right now, you just need to be going high. You got to know the situation. I don't need to put him to his back to keep this match going. I just need a takedown.
That's going to do it. Xander Jolton is your 132-pound champion here at the CVC Wrestling Championships. Xander Jolton.
That was a very solid match.
Absolutely.
Right decisions made. I think there was that scramble about the 25-second mark, and that would have been when I would have tried to keep him down from a front headlock situation for a go-behind. A lot of kids, when they're wrestling that situation where they just need a takedown, they start not to panic, but they think they need to put them to the back to win. A takedown ties the match. You go to overtime. You got to understand those situations as a young wrestler. Sometimes you don't always think about that. So I was looking at this. Jonathan Bissell was a district placer in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, PA 10, right.
Yeah, District 10, that's a solid district. I wrestled in that district when I was in Erie myself, so I know that wrestling there is pretty solid. So we should have a good match here.
So that's where the Penn State love comes from.
Well, I do love Penn State. My mom was a graduate there. I have a brother who graduated from there, and I do follow Penn State. I know there's a bet between some people on how many references.
I don't think we get to count that one because I brought it up. So you're safe. You're winning right now.
All right. I do know what the over-under on Ohio State references are. Here we go. He locked up a cradle against the Perry guy.
So Bissell with the early 5-0 lead over Chris Bezig from Perry.
So he's locked up another cradle again. What you want to do is you want to get hip to hip. I would like to be a little bit more hip to hip there. Now you want to get the bottom knee in the side. Bottom knee in the side there. That's going to stretch it out a little bit. If he gets that bottom knee in the side, it's the bottom knee that's the key. You extend that out. That's going to flatten him out.
He's going to get another 3-point near fall. Now it's 8-0 here in the first period. When you look at Bissell, I mean, as Coach said.
Oh, we got a Merkel here. He's going to try to Merkel him here. That's where he's going to try to take him back. I don't know if I really need to do this. I'd go back. I'd give it up. I'm not sure I needed that Merkel there. I took him down pretty easy. I know Chris is a solid wrestler, he's a district placer, but I took him down pretty easy. I'd rather go on my feet. Why get in a crazy scramble where I don't need to be? I'm up 8-1 in this match. See, there's a little bit of a shot here. See, Chris isn't done yet. He's well coached. He knows he's not out of the match in the first 2 minutes. All right there. See, that's some solid wrestling. That's where I go back to. Whatever happens, score the next point. He gave up 8. Now he scored the next 3.
And that's a learning moment for all the kids at home watching. You may not be in the championship bout, but you can learn a lot from watching these guys. And as Coach mentioned, that's one of the points is, okay, you get taken down to your back. You need to go ahead and, keep going and keep wrestling. And you never know how a match is going to turn out. There are no 10-point moves, but you can get a bunch of 5-point moves or a couple of takedowns, and escape, near falls. You can get back into a match in a hurry.
So a lot of points, 11 points scored in that first 2 minutes. Some excitement, couple cradles.
Going to have a caution there.
A little bit of a false start. Wanted to get started early. Wanted the party to start early.
Bezig had a lot on his mind. He wanted to get right to it.
He's got a lot of work to do. You get 2 of those. You get 2 of those before it costs you. See right there, 1, not 2. 1, not 2.
9-3 here in the second period. Jonathan Bissell from Jefferson in his first conference tournament appearance in the Chagrin Valley Conference.
So right here again, I got to know where I'm at. Good job. He circled back in. So right there, nice job. He fed him some hips. That's big critical. So we're in a scramble. All right. So he gives up the takedown. So Chris is going to want to try to go to work a little bit here. Can I get a turn to close this gap down?
So Bezig, a never say die moment here.
Right.
52 seconds remain in the second period.
So
Bezig's going to give up that point. Let Bissell start on his feet.
So right now, Bissell, is looking. He's expended a lot of energy up to this point, and he's had to use a lot of energy to defend a little bit. So he's looking like he's slowed down just a bit, but he's got to stay wrestling here. This match is far from over. It's a 5-point match. It's close. It's closer than the score really indicates. So he's got to continue to wrestle through positions. That's the big thing. I can't stop wrestling. So these scramble positions, you really want to have the higher guy.
Two more for Bezig.
Nice job. And here we are. We're in a 5-point situation.
Oh, and he's getting the back points.
This is going to be tied up if he gets off his back. This match is tied now.
He got the 3.
You've got to keep wrestling. Score the next point. It took a lot of wood to chop, but Chris has really brought it back. Now we're in an even match.
That was impressive. He was down 8-1, Coach, 8-1, and he tied it up 10-10.
So he went neutral. He's taken him down the last few times. So Bissell really has to find his defense, and he's got to get back to what he did in the first period. Hand fight hard, get into positions, stay solid. The scrambling hasn't worked for you. You've got to hit a solid conventional shot. I'm not sure. This gentleman's new to the conference, so I haven't seen him a lot. But I don't know, maybe he's just one of those guys who loves scrambling. But you've got to take a good shot here. And he's getting pushed around. And here's what the thing is you're getting pushed to the edge. And the way Chris has picked up momentum, you're going to give up a stalling call. You've got to be aware of that. You've got to stay away from the edge. You've got to stay in the center. There's a good shot. It's a half. So that I always say when you're wrestling a guy, you took that little half shot there. It holds the ref off. He might have been thinking, maybe he wants stalling.
Right.
I bet you he gets. There it is. Just like I said, he backed him right to the edge. I was just going to say that little half shot there a couple seconds ago probably delayed it, but then Chris came right back and pushed him and walked him out. It really opened it up. Nice sweep single in there to rebound. He's got to get that up. I would have liked to seen him get that leg up a little bit higher. He kind of went to that trip a little early. So he's got to square. He's got to work to stay square.
Wow.
Perry gets the takedown in the scramble. Nice job of continuing to wrestle.
Came all the way back from 8-1, and now with 44 seconds remaining in the match, he's up 2. We're gonna have a little bit of blood time for Bissell.
So here's what Bissell has to do. He has to get to his feet. You got in on that shot. What I will have seen on that shot that he got into in that last sequence, he only brought it up to about his waist, a little bit above his waist. I would have liked to seen him get that a little bit higher, then go for that trip. He probably scores it there, but he did it a little bit low. It allowed Chris to keep his foot closer to the mat, if you will, even though it was up in the air. He was able to sink that whizzer a little better, and he was able to come out in that scramble.
Folks, Chris Bezig is putting on a clinic here. He was down 8-1. He gave up 2 3-point near falls in the first period, and here he is leading 12-10 with 44 seconds left. A lot of guys would have given up. A lot of guys might have gotten pinned in that first period because, I'm down 8-1, I'm done fighting.
Yeah.
Chris Bezig never stopped fighting, and here he is now 44 seconds away from becoming a conference champion.
Well, that's a testament not only to Chris and his mental toughness to stay in the match and just start chipping away, but the quality of program that those coaches over there at Perry has done, and to keep him in that match, to keep him calm, not to panic, not to give up, stay in the moment.
So Bissell in trouble. He got those 2 early near falls, and since then it's been all Chris Bezig.
All right, got the escape.
There's one.
So again, there's an idea of Chris understanding if I give up the reversal, it's tied. So here's what I need to do. This is what, okay, I got to split. I'm going to stand up, push to one side. I got to do it again, keep moving. I'd lift. He's sinking the hips, that's good. What Bissell needs to do is he's got to get the head to one side. Now he's got to reach up through. He's got 10 seconds. He's got to push one of them off.
Oh, way to grab that foot if he can get around. Wow. That was just overall impressive from Chris Bezig to go and win that match after being down 8-1. Chris Bezig, you're a conference champion.
Chris did a great job. He stayed in the moment, didn't let it get too big for him, didn't worry about the score, just figured out how to score. But I'll say Bissell did a nice job towards the end, and he stayed in the fight and had multiple opportunities down the stretch to change the tide back in his favor. This will be a great matchup when we get to districts.
Here we go. Another outstanding match here at 144 pounds for the CVC title. In the blue singlet, you have Addison Trisket from Madison, and in the white singlet, Chance Schlau from Perry. Trisket comes in 18-5, second at the Battle by the Lake. He won the Rebel Invitational and placed 4th at Kenston. Schlau is 15-7. He placed 3rd at the North Coast Classic here at Independence earlier this season.
Yeah, North Coast, what a tough tournament that is.
And it's gotten better and better.
We tell people it's a tough tournament, how it's set up. We Ken DeAngelis does a great job running that tournament. If you knew the work that guy does to put that tournament together to make it run as smoothly as it does, like, you wouldn't even believe it. You'd think that was his full-time job, and he's a teacher at the middle school.
Right. Well, there's another guy that needs to get a lot of credit, too, that's out there getting all the sponsorships to make that happen, and that's you, Coach. So, great job. And that's also great just to say, when you look at the community that comes out and supports wrestling. So that's fantastic that they do that, and your effort going out and soliciting those sponsorships, it's invaluable what you do, because it costs a lot to put that on. The hospitality room, second to none. So it's just a great job from Independence here. Not only today, the North Coast Classic, you guys run sectional tournaments as well, and just everybody around here does such a great job. So selfless. It's great for the kids.
Well, the community's great. They really support our program. We really try to give back to the youth in the middle school. We really try to make it a team, family and a team event. You can see some of our banners up there from all the seniors since Ken's taken over. We really try to embody that one team, one family. But these guys that are wrestling right now, they're really feeling each other out. They're staying solid. They're staying right in the middle, hand fighting tough, working for position. Again, with that underhook, I like my head on the side of the underhook. It gives me better position. It really opens stuff up.
So we go to the second period, scoreless here in the 144-pound championship bout here at the CVC Wrestling Championships. We're live from Independence High School. I'm Steve Hare, the CVC Sports Information Director, and providing color analysis for us during this broadcast is Independence Assistant Coach Brian Vitrone.
Before we get started, I want to shout out to all of our parents who really help, my wife especially, and who does a lot to make that coach's room the way it is, and our moms at the high school level who really put on a good concessions. We really take pride in that it's a good environment that we provide food for the coaches who give up a lot of time. And we want to thank all of our mat sponsors, including you, Steve, and Ohio Varsity, for sponsoring us the last couple of years. You guys do a great job.
Well, it's my favorite sport, so anything I can do to kind of help make that a little bit better for all the kids and the tournaments, I enjoy doing it. I'm just happy to see the numbers coming back.
Yeah.
5-6 years ago, I was really worried for the sport, but it's coming back strong. I think the girls, becoming state sanctioned, that helped quite a bit. You got a lot more attention toward the sport.
I tell you what, the girls wrestling is awesome. They wrestled. Ken was at a tournament at Lutheran once. He said some of the girls hand fight harder than the boys.
They do.
And I'll tell you what has really helped too is that those in the know, like our women's senior national team, are just dominant on the senior level. It gives them such opportunities. Nice little go behind there by
there's the two
by Addison to get the takedown there. That was really nice. But
takes the lead.
And the college is really taking heart and to promoting women's wrestling. Such a good thing to see the sport. It only makes our sport better that the girls and the women have an opportunity to showcase their skill, and they are skilled.
Absolutely, and the number of college scholarships that are available to female wrestlers in high school. Right now, if you've got a daughter and you don't want to pay for college, put her in wrestling, because
Absolutely.
The opportunities are endless right now.
So here's what I want to do on top. If I'm Addison, what I want to do is I want to get to that wrist. So I need to be pressuring forward a little bit more and get that wrist. He's going to a spiral ride, which is good. But I want to be driving forward. I can't do that spiral ride sitting behind his hips. I got to be out to the side and stretching him out. Did a nice job. He broke him down. Now I got to get to a wrist. I got to get to something that I can look for a turn. And right there, if I'm Chance, I can't camp out on the bottom. I've got to score. Getting out on bottom is an attitude, and I really got to be forceful in getting out. He's got to try to commit to himself, to commit to a takedown, to commit to an escape in the next 15 seconds. If I can get to my feet 3-4 times in a row, the top guy's going to let me go because it's too much energy, and I'll go on my feet. So I want to drive to that chop. See, he's trying to chop that arm, and he's way back behind the hips. That's not always going to work. Now, Chance will drop down to a hip. I really want to be driving. I want to take that. I want to be driving through him. I want to be digging that back leg behind behind him and driving him over that wrist. So right now, if I'm Chance, I want to change over. So Addison did the right thing. I'm going to let him up. I'm up by a takedown now. I've already taken him down. I'll take this to my feet.
And this is the opportunity for Schlau now to come down and tie the match, get that takedown. 3-1.
You're better at those last names. I'll go with the first name.
Well, I have the pronunciations right here, so you learn over the years. You look for that phonetic spelling for these tough names.
So right now, if I'm Chance, I need to be hand fighting a little more. I got to get him thinking of thinking my attack's coming from somewhere where it's not. To a lot of our kids, like, get them going one way or the other. That was perfect. Drove into him, dropped right into that. Or now I want to sink my hips here and squeeze. Nice shot right there. Good finish. He stayed right with it. He didn't let him squirm out of that. He stayed tight. Now, if I'm Chance, I don't want to see. That's what I was afraid of. I didn't want to hang out. Either take him out of bounds and get a restart. And now I'm down. I got 33 seconds. I got to go. I got to get my hand foot. I got to get Addison thinking I'm coming from somewhere not. Hard to defend in two directions. So he's went for a body lock. I don't like that body lock in this because now I can get two underhooks in. I'm in a good position here.
15 seconds remaining.
So Chance has to pummel out of this. He cannot hang out. He's letting Addison off the hook a little bit by not getting out. So I got to go for it now. At this point, if I hit a throw and land on my back, it makes no difference.
Right, and there it is. Addison Trisket in his first conference tournament in the Chagrin Valley Conference. He wins the conference title at 144 pounds.
That's a tough match right there. Those two good kids wrestling. And
up next at 150 pounds, we've got Ethan Bartlett from West Jaga. He'll be wearing the green. And Drake Reniger from Crestwood will be wearing the red anklet. 150 pounds for your CVC title. And we are underway.
So we have another one of these guys who like to wrestle from their knees on their feet. It's a good style if you know what you're looking for, but sometimes it can confuse a referee in the stylistic if you don't see that a lot. And, you know, for conventional wrestlers who don't see this often, it kind of throws you off your game a little bit. What do I do? You know, maybe I'm a double guy, and if he's got both knees on there, how do I get to my double? You've got to get him. This is where I might hand fight. We call it like paint the head a little bit. So I might just how it sounds. I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to paint the head. I'm going to try to get him to come out of that, come back to his feet so I can get to my offense. So he got him to come up.
Bartlett in the black singlet. He won the Josh Hefner Memorial Tournament, and he won the John Matucci Tournament out at East Lake North. 28-2 on the year. Reniker is 28-3. He won the Portage County Tournament. He won the Kenston Invitational, second at the North Coast Classic, and third at the Soul and Comet Classic. So he performed well in some really good tournaments this year as well.
So he's got, now if I'm Ethan here, I cannot let him get out of that underhook. I want to try to keep him in that. I want to keep him on his feet so I can get to my offense. See right there, he kind of stalled.
There's the two. And we're going to have some discussion about that too.
So here's the thing, you can't stop wrestling on the edge. Ethan a little bit slowed down on the edge and it allowed Drake to scoop and hook that ankle and lock it up. Now, the argument they're going to make is that Ethan had that leg locked up and that he had it like a single, if you will. And they're going to say that wasn't enough. He didn't do enough to gain control because I had that leg still locked up with my hands. So it's going to be what the ref's judgment was at that time, and I believe he's already talked to the secondary ref to see what he saw. They probably went over it. My guess is probably this is not going to change. So right now, if I'm Ethan, I got to prepare for two things, right? One thing I got to prepare, like if they take the takedown off the board, I'm back on my feet, I'm 0-0. If now I also have to prepare mentally that, okay, it didn't go my way. What do I have to do now to tie this match up? I got to stay in the moment. All right.
25 seconds. You're now down 2. You want to try and at least get one of those back.
Right.
Try and get
So
that
I want
escape.
to get to the feet. So he's got this cradle locked up, right? So nice job. Oh, wait, we're going to get some backs here. 15 seconds. He's got to kick his foot. Nice job. He's out with a reversal. So not a great exchange. He got a little bit of high there. He got 2 back, but he gave up two reversals. So it was a now that's going to be he's going to be, so here's going to be, yep, that's what I was afraid of. Right there, when you pick a wrestler up, you have to control him on the way down. This is not going to be injury time. This is going to be recovery time, and if he can't go, Ethan unfortunately is going to lose. He's going to give up the conference title. So let's see. Hopefully Drake is okay. Hopefully he just got shocked a little bit, and will be able to continue. But you know, when you pick a guy up, you're responsible for his safe return. I mean, you can drive. We always say bury the hips. You can always do that, and sometimes that makes a loud noise. But there's a way to do it under control.
And that's what it comes down to, is maintaining that control. The noise doesn't matter. A lot of times people hear the noise and think it's an illegal slam, but it's not.
I remember a couple years ago when I first started, Josh Stasek was wrestling the finals on North Coast, and I'm sitting in the corner, and he got headlocked out of nowhere. And I'm telling you, when those two guys, heavyweights hit, the floor shook. I mean, I didn't have to jump up to talk to him. I was already out of my chair due to the impact.
And Josh was a big dude. You know, those big dudes make a lot of loud noises.
Right, and he wrestled another big guy.
All right, so Renneker now up 5-2 to start the second period. And he will be in the down position.
So there you go, score the next point. So see how he's up and he didn't let a little hide and seek behind the referee there. Used him as a pick, like in football. All right, so again, what Ethan needs to do, he's got to get him out of his comfort zone. He's got to get Renneker out of his comfort zone, which is wrestling from his knee there. He's got to get him moving around. All right. So what he's got to do is he's got to get him to come up, and he's got to pick his shot just right so that he doesn't drop back down to a knee. He's got to hit it clean almost, I feel. So a little bit more hand fighting. He's got to be more active with his hands. I always like to say active hands, active feet. Right there. So his feet weren't active enough, and Drake was able to drop in on that low shot.
Pop the head, and there's his 2-point takedown. Renneker now leads 8-2. Under a minute left in the second period of this 150-pound championship bout at the CVC Wrestling Tournament.
Ethan did a nice job. He got him moving in a different direction that I don't think Drake was really comfortable with, but he didn't move his feet enough to clear for that little low shot. And Renneker picked his moment and was able to capitalize. So he's really stretching out. You got to get that head like a football. We always say hook the head like a football. Yeah. That's a tough one right there. I'm not sure if I would have called that right away. If I'm on bottom, I like that call. If I'm on top, I don't like it at all. But what Drake needed to do, if he could have hooked that head, he needs to take that free arm and stretch, and that opens up the back for him to get the back points. So you got to be careful here, because if Renneker can get stuck on his back, you don't want to give up a defensive pin. You're in control of this match. You're wrestling pretty solid. You know, those are those freaky things that can happen in wrestling at times.
I've seen a lot of really good wrestlers in that position get pinned because.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, if you're wrestling another good kid, they know what's going on. You're not going to get anything by them.
So we're going to start on our feet in the third. Again, I got to get him off his knees. He's comfortable there. I've got to do something he hasn't seen before. So see, Drake came up. He was heavy on the head. So Ethan's got to get heavy on the head. He's got to create the action. He can't let him drop down to the...
Reneker in the black singlet with the red trim. Bartlett in the black singlet with the blue trim.
Drake's doing a really nice job of knowing what he wants to do, staying in the center of the mat, and forcing Ethan to make into some mistakes. I think Ethan's having a really hard time figuring out that, oh, he's into that shot. He's got to finish there. Nice. Keep good movement. Okay, he's got to come out the back door. He's got to come up. He's got to keep his hips high. He's got to get on his toes. He needs to push off. He needs to be driving into him up a little bit, because what I fear is going to happen here is they're going to call a stalemate. He needs to push his head, push that top leg off of his head to try to score there.
44 seconds remain.
That was a nice shot. He got in there deep, and he got to finish. He hasn't had many of those opportunities, so when you have them, you got to take advantage. So, okay, he's looking for a front headlock. See, right here, there's a critical. I don't like that arm all the way through. And that's exactly what almost happened. He almost got sucker dragged. So what I mean there, Ethan got into that front headlock, and the arm that should have been on the chin, he got it all the way into that armpit. And what that does, it creates a lot of space for Reneker to get through, and call like a drag through. We call it a sucker drag. So I would, these refs today have called that stalling, just backing out. Reneker was a little lucky he didn't get a stalling call there, but with 8 seconds left, it wasn't going to make a difference. And that takedown.
And that's going to do it, folks. 8-4, your winner and 150-pound champion in the CVC is Drake Reneker of Crestwood.
Reneker wrestled a great match. He deserved that title. He did a great job. But what I liked from the West G guy, he didn't stop wrestling. He looked to score at the end. He did a nice job. A lot to learn from in that match.
Well, you don't get to the conference championship out by not understanding what you have to do, and we've seen it. We saw Bezic come back the way he did, and these guys know what's at stake. This is where you start that momentum for a run to the state tournament. All right, so we got Kyle Wenzel from Edgewood in the gray and red singlet. He's 29-5. And from West Jaga, we have Brian Denneman, who is 30-5. Oh, nice ankle pick there from Wenzel. Wasn't able to finish.
So again, I'm in that underhook, right? That was a nice switch to a high crotch. He changed over. So right here, he's got that ankle. High chest is going to win here. Nice job. He's got the leg. That might be a little early on that too.
I agreed with you, but
that might be a little early. But obviously West G doesn't think it's early, otherwise they'd be upset. But I thought that might have been a little early because he stood up right away. But I understand, and he had the leg. He had the leg kind of hooked, so I'm not sure he totally had control. But it's not me who has to make that call.
1:28 remaining here in the first period of this 157-pound bout. Want to give a shout out to Rich and Marcia Denneman. They're in Aruba tuning in to the CVC Championships to watch their grandson. So Rich and Marcia, I hope you're staying warm. It's darn cold up here in Northeast Ohio. Bring us home some sunshine. And don't forget about those gifts. I'm a 2X if you're getting me a t-shirt.
So what I want to do here, if I am Brian, I want to make sure that I can keep his head down. Kyle, I want to keep my hand on that elbow, and I want to circle out of it just like he did there.
42 seconds remain in this first period.
So I want to see good hand fighting here. I want to hand fight. That's nice. He drove to that ankle pick. He didn't really pull down on the head. I would like to see it a little bit more pull down on the head. to get that more torque on that ankle pick, but here we are, and we're in a 50-50 scramble position. Let's see. So Kyle's doing a nice job staying active. He's locked through the crotch there. So what Brian needs to do, he needs to start driving into him a little bit, try to keep my hips down, split the legs. Yeah, I don't want to give that up. See, there we go, scoring at the end of the period. Now look how Kirkland, you were like 3 seconds away from finishing the period, 1 point. Now you're going to be down 3. You've got to fight. You got to have an internal clock inside you as you get further along. Try to have that internal clock. I got to know the period's running short. Those points at the end of the period are so costly.
Right.
Because you have no time in that period to come back. Now you're down 3.
So 4-1, Kyle Wenzel in the lead over Brian Denneman.
So good first move. Okay, what I'm learning by Kyle watching him, he's a little bit of a funky kind of roll around guy. Those guys are hard to wrestle because you never know, they can score from all kinds of positions. Another ankle pick there, very nice, right into backs. Very good sequence right there for him. And that's tight. You can tell that that's tight. He's got that locked up nice and tight.
Wenzel now up 7-1, and he's going to get 3 back points to make it 10-1. So Wenzel's got this one in control here in the midpoint of the second period.
So that's, you know, when you got these rolly guys like that, you know, something like that happens. So if I'm Brian, I want to try to get score 2 here, but I definitely want to get 1. I don't want to come out of the sequence without at least getting 1 point. And right now, the referee's still signaling that Kyle's still is in control. I know it might look crazy, but now they call a stalemate and you get nothing.
.112 remaining here, second period. Kyle Wenzel of Edgewood up 10-1 in this 157-pound championship bout here at the CVC tournament. So presented on CVC TV by Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery.
So right there, West G was asking, how come they didn't get 1? They never came to their feet, and that's a good point. That's what I mean. You've got to know the situation. I need that point. Come up. Take a couple seconds to try to get that reversal. If you're not going to get to your feet, get the 1 point. He ends up getting, now he's in on a shot, so he's got to finish here. Finish here would be big. Another stalemate. When you get into these scoring opportunities, when you're down by a lot, you've got to capitalize when you have the opportunity. And Kyle's obviously good at rolling around and counters to some of this stuff, so you've got to get in clean. You can't, we talk a lot about with our kids, power on contact, power on contact. Nice takedown by Kyle there.
12-2 now. Kyle Wenzel
Oh, he's got
leading.
the half. He's going to start giving up 2 here. He's got some back on the edge.
Oh, he's looking for that pin.
Now, if Brian's got to understand the situation, where am I at? Get out of bounds. You've got to know I'm out. I can get out of bounds here. Nice job fighting off your back. Good job.
So a 3-point near fall at the end of the second period. Kyle Wenzel is going to take a 15-2 lead into the third period. He is on fire.
Brian's got to really go here. Takedown ends the match. If I know Coach Blank over there for Edgewood, he's going to want something to his back. So this ends the match.
And there it is, the tech fall for Kyle Wenzel of Edgewood. He is going to win your 157-pound championship here at the CVC tournament. Live from Independence High School and brought to you by Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery.
At 165 pounds, from Madison, Noah Blau. From Perry, Dominic Lamacchia.
So this will be an exciting match, I think. Unfortunately, I was front row for Lamacchia's match. He wrestled my son and beat him up. Much to my dislike, but he did what he was supposed to do, and really good. So you got a district placer versus state qualifier. Should be a solid match.
Sorry about that, folks. I was updating something and missed out on the camera. 1:33 and counting here in the first period.
Oh, there we go. He's locked up a cradle here. These
got a
tall
cradle.
guys, they like them cradles. They got them long, crazy arms. Now again, right here, he got the pin. I was just gonna say, when this cradle, you want to get that bottom knee in the hip that really pushes, gets the
38
back.
seconds. Noah Blah.
CVC champion, 165 pounds, Noah Blau from Madison.
So we move it 175 pounds. It's going to be Zeke Lucas in red from Edgewood. He is 30-7, and he's going to face Brandon Bruce Bay from Trinity, who will be wearing the green anklet. Bruce Bay is a returning state qualifier. He's a transfer from Cleveland Central Catholic. And Zeke Lucas also is a returning state qualifier. Lucas was 7th at the Top Gun tournament, 2nd at the Berkshire Battle of the Belt. Bruce Bay is a returning state qualifier. He was 2nd at the Catholic Invitational tournament, 2nd at Hawken, won the Springfield tournament. So returning state qualifier is going to go head-to-head here for the 175-pound title.
So two physical kids here. We should hopefully have a good match, which we will have a good match. These guys are two physical guys, state qualifiers. They know what it takes to get to the next level. So let's see how this plays out. I'm excited to see some good hand fighting between these two guys.
175-pound championship bout here at the CVC tournament. Brandon Bruce Bay in the blue and white singlet. Zeke Lewis in the gray and white. 125 remaining here in the first period. Nearing that 1 minute mark, midway point of the first.
So here's what I like what Brandon's doing. He's hand fighting tough. He's moving around. He's putting Zeke Lucas, last name's Lucas.
Lucas,
right?
correct.
On the defensive. He drew a stalling call there, so Lucas is going to have to open up a little bit. But Brandon's doing a nice job keeping the pressure. I'd like to see Brandon a little bit more side to side. I don't like the train track motion. We always tell our kids we don't want to go forward and backward. You can take ground, but go do it like at angles. Find your angles. Where's the angle that he's looking for? He's on that arm like a Russian. Again, on that Russian, I'd like my head to be on the same side that I have the Russian a little bit maybe. So he's looking for maybe like a little bit of a throw by, I feel. He's trying to get that right pressure, and he's going to try to throw him on by. This is a good, solid, this is a good hand fighting. People might be watching like there's not a lot of action, but I tell you, these guys are feeling each other right now. And that's hand fighting. Whoever hand fought the toughest, it'll pay off in the later periods.
And that's what, in wrestling practice, you know, there are guys, oh, coach, why do we got to keep doing these silly little hand fighting drills? And this is why. You come up with a returning state qualifier, you're going to have to control those hands and find a way.
Absolutely. Hand fighting is so critical. You got to, and you know, we have a lot of guys, and we tell a lot of guys, like, you've got to hand fight with authority. You're not giving grandma a hug. You know,
young wrestlers, there is a method to the madness. Trust your coaches, trust the process.
You know, you got to find that happy medium. We're not trying to knock somebody out like a UFC fighter, but we are trying to let your opponent know that I'm here. One of the things I'd like to see too, like, you know, a little bit of feeling out, like a little bit of a mind game. I want to be first back, whichever kid it is. I want to be first back to the center.
Right.
You know, I want to run back. I want to let the guy know that I'm excited to be here, and I am loaded with energy.
Right. I'm not tired. I'm not whooped. I'm eager to come out and take you down. And so, yeah, I agree with you.
Even if I am tired, I'm not going to let you know that.
It's those mental games.
Nice job with Brandon to get to his feet. Good job. And now Lucas has got to stay in there. He's got to get in there. This is a close match.
And that first point is important. You get into overtime.
So again, you got to remember too, Lucas was called for stalling. He cannot live on the edge. He's got to stay in the center. I got to have that internal roadmap, knowing that I'm going to the out of bounds marker, and I got to turn and face back in. I have to keep my back to the center because I got a stalling call. So this hand fighting is really impressive between both guys. They're standing there. But again, here we are. Trinity coaches are asking for it. He's going to the edge. If I'm Edgewood, I've got to tell him. I've got to tell him you cannot stay on the edge. You've got to stay in the center. Keep your back to the center. And what Trinity did there is they just reminded the referees a little bit in a nice way that, hey, he's got a stalling call.
I like that, reminding in a nice way.
Yeah. No, nice. He dropped right in on that. Now he's got to score there. So what he's got to do, he's got a limp arm out there. He's trying to get that arm out. He's got a limp arm out. He's going to get two. Very good. Nice job. Nice job on that sequence. He knew what he had to do. He had good position. Just get that arm out. And now, again, here we are in the last 20 seconds scoring. Now, Lucas, if he can score a point, it keeps it really close. Nice. Good job by Brandon staying there, dropping to that leg, not giving up that point in the last 5-6 seconds, right? He did a very nice job of not giving it. Now I'm up 3-0 in the third period, and all the pressure is on him, Lucas, to score with a stalling call.
Yep, those last 10, 20 seconds, when you give up points or you get points, boy, it can change the shape of a match.
But that hand fighting is what set that up. Brandon's hand fighting in there set that up, allowed him to drop nice into that single and finish clean. Again, right there, Brandon knowing the situation, 1-2. I'm up by a takedown. I just took you down. I got a stalling call against you. So again, if I'm Brandon, I don't want to slow down my hand fight. That's what allowed me to score. But Lucas, he has to pick up the pace. He's the one behind. He's got to find a way to break through Brandon's hand fighting and get to his shot.
And yeah, Brandon Bruce Bray has controlled the hands. He's controlled the match. He's up 3-1.
Almost a little bit of a mistake there. He kind of threw him by. But he kind of a little bit of a stumble. He almost fell back. So this is where I'm talking a little bit too. Like a referee calls a guy for stalling early in the match, and then it never comes back out. Now, I'm not saying Lucas is stalling, but he has lived on the edge a little bit more than he probably should, and it may come back to hurt him later on. A stalling call makes it a 3-point match instead of a 2-point match where a takedown ties it. And here he is again, living on the edge. So here we go, Brandon, nice drop, way to pull his legs back, dropped into a front. Now he's got to go behind. Instead of going for that ankle, I'd like to push that hand down, wrist over and go behind. This is still a close match. Like, Lucas really needs to pick up the pace here.
It's only 3-1, but Bruce Bay has controlled the match.
He has absolutely controlled this match the whole way through, and it's all because of his hand fighting. His hand fighting was solid.
There's a takedown to the back.
Nice
Lucas
job.
saved by the bell. Brady's going to get 2 on the near fall.
Brandon did a nice job. The hand fighting in there was really solid. It didn't allow Lucas to get into any kind of a rhythm, and it really put him on the defensive. That was a nice job by Brandon.
Agreed. So now we move to 190 pounds. We've got Matt Webster of Jefferson against Cameron Carter of Trinity. Carter is 21-4. Webster is 24-5. Webster will wear the red anklet. He's got the black singlet with yellow and red trim. And Carter has on the black and white singlet. 190-pound final set to begin, and we are underway.
And again, Trinity's really doing a nice job with their program. The coaches are really solid. They're knowledgeable. They take these guys a lot of places over the summer. They get a lot of wrestling in. The Jefferson coach, I've seen him around youth. He does a lot. He puts a lot of time in. His kids are solid too. Should be a good match.
Yeah, and adding Madison and Jefferson to the CVC, that just brings in 2 more quality wrestling programs to an already strong conference.
So one thing I don't like there that was a little bit, so he got that wizard position. Kind of just dropped in, kind of not with full force. Again, I like to talk to our kids about power on contact. When you drop in, there should be some power behind it. Now you're looking at both these guys. They got big lower halves. Big thick legs. You're just not gonna fall into a takedown. You're gonna have to get them legs moving and driving.
You have to earn it. These upper weights, you don't see quite as much action as you do in the lighter weights, but these dudes, they work hard to earn their points.
So nice little snake there. Nice job. He reached in. That
Carter.
was a nice little snake to a takedown. That was very good. Oh, he's got a. He looked like he wanted to lock up a spladle there.
Well, what a job Jeremy Clark has done at Trinity to have 4 finalists in the tournament this year. He's doing a great job out there. We're going to do a feature on the Trojans a little bit later this year. They took a team trip to Africa this summer, and I'm eager to learn a little bit more about that and how that kind of impacted their team bonding and coming together as a squad to make quite a run this year.
When you do stuff like that for the kids, it really makes them really not. I don't know if this is the right word, but indebted to you. Like, they're going to give you more. Like, going to Africa, it's like a once-in-a-lifetime trip for anybody. And to do that with your teammates, it's going to be really special. Those are memories you're going to remember forever.
Absolutely. It's like when, a lot of baseball and softball teams will go south for spring break. And, every year they come back and they talk about how they've developed that team bond that you're looking for. And, you need that closeness and that togetherness because you need people to want to go out there and work hard for their teammates. Wrestling's an individual sport, but.
So good hip action right here by Carter to get that reversal.
Right, and as I was saying, wrestling's an individual sport. You're out on the mat by yourself, but in that wrestling room and practice, you need those teammates to push you and know what your breaking point is and kind of get you back behind that a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm not sure he's the one that coined this phrase, but Cale has been quoted as saying from Penn State, it may be an individual sport, but it builds camaraderie like no other sport.
Absolutely.
So if the over-under was 1, we're going to push.
That's 1. 4-2 now with that reversal from Webster.
A good job from Matt. Again, score the next point. So here we are. Cameron's looking to try to get another reversal too. Matt's got to know the situation. Get out of bounds. Stay on top.
4-2 here in this 190-pound championship bout. Carter in the down position, Webster on top. Carter with a win at Hawken, a win at the Al Pinter Memorial. He took third at the Catholic Invitational.
All right,
there's
so
Webster to the back. Oh, he flipped over.
So almost a little bit. He went for a high percentage move, or I like to. He went for a high risk, low percentage move there, and he almost put himself in a bad spot. So, you know, there are times to hit those moves, and there are times to just get my one. All I need is one there. I'm up 5-2. So right now, what Webster needs to do, he needs to scooch his hips out, just like he did there to get the backs. So now this match is gonna swing into his favor once these points are awarded.
That'll be 3 for the near fall when they hold up those fingers here in about 4 seconds.
So that sequence kind of started when Carter got to his feet and he tried a high risk move, and ended up in a bad position. Where if he just cuts away, we're on our feet and he's up 5-2.
Yeah, it is a learning moment, and you know, as you make that run toward the state tournament, those are the things you want to clean up. But every match, whether you win or lose, you need to be able to walk away with it with something you can work on to become better, and that's a moment for Carter.
So Webster has to try to get this arm out. He can't just rest on his hips there, rest on his butt there. He's got to kind of scoot. So before the potentially dangerous, you need to get your hips back to the mat and unhook that leg. It's got to close the windows. He's looking for, you know, you already showed that he was going to try to hit a spladle. I don't want to stay down there forever. Nice job right there off the whistle. He stood straight up. Didn't let Carter get settled and try to get a nice low shot there. Nice up. Now what he needs to do is he's got to get to the corner like he did there. Nice job to finish. Very good.
Did they not give?
They got.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
6-6.
It just took them a while to update for the escape. I didn't want to have the wrong score on my scoreboard. Looks like they've got it corrected. And those pesky referees, you got to kind of work the cameras around. So there we are, 6-6 with 50 seconds
so right
left.
So see right there, he's trying to spladle. So Webster has to understand the situation. He's going to try to slip that leg. He's gone to a spladle situation 3 times. He hasn't been able to capitalize. But you've got to be thinking, I can't stay down there forever, because he's going to slip that leg in. He's going to go right for the spladle.
There's Carter looking for a tilt there for some back points.
He needed to extend that leg a little bit, and he would have got that turn.
We're 30 seconds away from our first overtime bout here, Coach.
Well, my wife likes to call overtime free wherever we're at. Free baseball, free football. So, I don't like this situation here. Nice reversal.
There's the reversal to the back. Webster with some back points to follow. 8-6.
Wow, he was dangerously close. That was a nice job understanding, keeping his hips moving. Oh, no!
Did they call it? Did they call it? Nothing. So 8-6, Webster's going to win.
But it was the right call. Time had expired. Good match. Solid match.
We've got a call from the Trinity coach over there to question that.
Well, what they
no
want to
call.
know, what he's going to probably ask for is did he have the reversal before time went out? And so he's not going to win that situation right there, unfortunately. I think that was the right call. It's a tough call. But Cameron kept trying to wrestle. There was an opportunity. It was a good match. It was a great match. I think what we did is we jinxed it, called for overtime. Like,
right on.
The field goal kicker hasn't missed 50 straight. Oh, wide right.
Exactly, the broadcaster jinx.
Yeah.
All right, so 215-pound championship.
Hey.
In the black singlet, Blake Welker from West Jaga. He's 28-11. And in the green singlet, you have Abby Ortiz from Lakeside. He is 24-8.
When Trinity watches this and they say that we jinxed them, we'll blame it on Jose.
There you go. It's Jose's fault. He whispered it to us.
Right.
Jose working our camera here, an Independence wrestler. Ortiz and Welker for the 215-pound championship. We talked about Welker earlier. He's just a freshman coming out here against some of these big dudes. It's hard to do.
Yeah. So you got to understand, you're coming in, he's a freshman, huh? So freshman, the big guy, they got to learn the style. So how much did he wrestle in youth, wrestling big guys? The big guys up here are a little bit different. So let's see how he does. Big thing is I'm going to have to hand fight. I got to pick my opportunities. I don't want to get stuck underneath this guy. I want to create my angles. How do I create my angles here? That was a nice little, like, hey, I'm here. That was a nice try to work the head there. Want to be heavy on the head. The more I carry, the guy has to feel me on his head. The more tired he's going to become as the match goes on.
It's another one of those coaching tips that wrestlers will tend to just let kind of go in one ear and out the other, but it's so important.
I don't want to just hang out there. I want him to feel me. So right there, Ortiz was, a little bit of painting of the head, trying to get a reaction, but he's got to follow that up. I can't just paint the head and not follow it up. So I don't like how he's trying to get out of that situation. He's turning his body. I can only defend in one direction. If he mistimes that, Carter Ortiz is going to be able to grab that leg and give up a takedown.
Just got the stalling call on Ortiz
there. See right there, that's why I don't like that, how Blake is going to the side. He's clearing like right in front of him. I don't like how he's doing that. I think that's going to put him in a bad spot at a really critical time. That could hurt him.
Ortiz will start the second period in the down position. We are scoreless here in the 215-pound title bout.
So again, I want to be driving forward. I want to put pressure on his hands now. So nice. He didn't get enough. He didn't attack the hands there, which allowed Ortiz to stand up. Nice job of Ortiz reading the pressure and reacting at the right time to get to his feet. That was a nice job. So Ortiz has got to be careful. I like the intensity. I like the physicality that he's doing, but sometimes those wide clubs can draw some attention from the refs, and you don't want to force the ref into making a tough call. If I come in tight, in a good hard snap, a good hard club, that's one thing. But if I come outside the body, that could cause the ref to say, man, maybe that's a little excessive. So you got to watch that a little bit.
1-0, Abby Ortiz from Lakeside on top here in the second period of this 215-pound championship bout.
If I'm Ortiz, I got to realize he's cut across me 3 or 4 times, and he lifts that leg up. Time that up and attack it at the knee while it's in the air. He's not going to be able to defend it. See right there, he's pressuring on the head. He needs to follow that up. He's looking for that snake we saw in the earlier match where he snakes it to the ground. But he's not getting a lot of pressure on that. He's just throwing it by it's almost like he's a little bit okay with just clearing it instead of trying to score off that.
15 seconds remaining here in the second. Ortiz still up 1-0 after that escape.
The hand fighting's been pretty solid. I don't see, there he did it again. If I'm in that corner, I'm telling Ortiz to time that step. Time that step, you're going to get it.
So now we'll go to the third period, and Welker's going to get his chance to earn an escape to tie this match, or maybe more.
So nobody's really done much on their feet. Excellent hand fighting. There's been a lot of pressure. So let's see what happens if Blake is able to get to his feet. He's got to get to his feet here. I cannot let this guy hang out on top, and I cannot carry this guy's weight for 2 minutes. So what I like what Ortiz is doing is he's making Blake carry his weight. If you're going to get back to your base, you're going to have to move 400 pounds to do it.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier said than done. It's a lot of weight on your back.
So I got it. So Blake has to get his hands out in front and build his base back into him. And what Ortiz needs to do is, I got to get a wrist so he can't build my base. I can't let him.
Is that blood time? Yep, we got a little bit of blood time here on Ortiz. .120 left here in the third period of this 215-pound championship bout. Abby Ortiz of Lakeside is in the lead 1-0. He started the second period in the down position and earned the escape. Blake Welker will try to do that in the third period. He started the third in the down position. Welker finished second at the Matucci tournament. He was sixth at Kenston, seventh at the Joshua Hefner Memorial Tournament. Ortiz was third at the Heart of Ohio tournament, fifth at the Riverside Rumble, and second at the Audrey Genovese Memorial Tournament. So both these guys have had a fair share of success this season already, and they're kicking off their postseason in the finals.
Nice job, very good job. He did not let Ortiz settle his weight. He did a changeover, sat out, and got out to the side and got him off and created an angle to get to his feet. That was a great job by Blake.
Well, Coach, this time I'm not going to jinx anybody, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Well, here.
57 seconds remaining in regulation. It's 1-1.
So I don't like that little bit of a reach by Blake. That needed to be a little bit more forceful. It was more like kind of like, I don't want to say, that was a much better engagement of the tie. Again, I'm telling you, Ortiz is going to pick that ankle before the end of this match.
I like the setup. He sees it. Walker's got those long legs.
Oh, that was a mistake.
Sure was, and Ortiz capitalized. That's the difference in matches like this. You're in a championship bout, quality wrestlers, a mistake, you're not going to get away with it against a quality wrestler.
Ortiz stayed in the center of the mat. He stayed solid. His hand fight was good. Blake had good hand fighting too, but Ortiz stayed solid and he waited and he snapped him down and went and spun behind. That was a nice job. Good match.
Abby Ortiz of Lakeside is your 215-pound CVC champion. And now, folks, we're headed to our final bout of the evening. 285 pounds.
From Hawkins, Will Greenberg. Will that jump from Harvey, Marvin Guerrero. The all-points winners continue to make their way to the east end of the competition gymnasium for our awards.
Will Greenberg with the green anklet. Marvin Guerra of Harvey with the red. Two big fellas coming in here. Greenberg, a state alternate last year.
So I like what he did right there. He went in, he knows what he wants to do. His hands and feet are active right now. He's putting Marvin right on the defensive right away.
And that's Greenberg's MO. He's a bully out on the mat. Big physical guy, but don't let it fool you. He's got some technique too. Nice to see some Harvey wrestlers in the finals. Marvin, a great kid. He was excited, I remember, from media day, just excited for the year. He's got some big goals this season, as all of these guys out here do. Columbus is that ultimate goal, and this is the beginning of that postseason. Sectionals will kick off in a couple of weeks, and it goes sectional, district, and the state tournament. So these guys are hungry to punch their ticket to Columbus, and it all starts with a conference title.
Excuse me. Yeah, so what I like about Will, he's staying in the center. He's working hard, trying to get to his setups. But Marvin's keeping him at bay, so he's not really letting him get comfortable. But what Marvin has to do, you got to do more than just keep him at bay. You've got to get into your offense. You're in the finals too. Look for your stuff. Don't let him dictate the match. So I don't think this is Marvin's position of strength, being in this over-under here.
No, and that's what Greenberg wants, though. Like I said, he imposes his will out on the mat.
Again, though, I've seen it a couple times, that underhook. I like my head on that underhook side.
A little flurry of activity near the edge of the mat, but nothing came of it.
So that high single would work a lot better if your head is on the side of the underhook. You can get to it. And that's like earlier I talked about that high risk, low reward situation for heavyweights. That underhook and you're on that side, that high single is high reward, low risk. If I don't get the takedown, I'm not in any real danger. I'm still on my feet.
We move to the second. We're scoreless. Greenberg will start in the down position, looking to take that early lead.
So Marvin's doing a nice job. The pressure's forward a little bit. I'd like to be under that arm. We always talk about being under the arms. Will did a nice job there.
There's the escape.
Getting back to his base and reading the pressure and got to his feet. That was a good job.
So Greenberg takes the 1-0 lead here in this 285-pound championship bout at the CVC tournament, presented on CVC TV by Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery.
So I like what Marvin did there. Will was trying to make him force some action on the edge of the mat there. Maybe try to draw a stalling call. I don't really think that's what his intent was. But Marvin read the situation, did a nice job. He turned himself back in to avoid getting a stalling call. That was a good read on his part and good to circle back. That was a good job.
We are under a minute here in the second period.
So nice. See, he went down. See his underhook. His head's on the underhook side there. What he needed to do is jack that up a little bit and punch it up, and then drop quick to that high single. You get that a little. You'd have a little bit more success in getting that. See, he's pushing him around. That time Marvin couldn't avoid the stalling call, but he's doing a nice job of trying to stay in. So right here, I want to jack that underhook up more. And one of the other things I might try to do before I punch is to take that underhook side of the leg that I have and try to put it behind the other leg to block him from being able to get out of it. He's had a couple opportunities at that high single. Oh, nice low drag there. That was nice and a good setup there.
Greenberg was a winner at the Hawken Invitational. He placed 4th at the Top Gun tournament, which is pretty darn impressive. So we'll move to the third period now. We are 2 minutes away from our final championship. Our final champion here, Will Greenberg of Hawken, leading 1-0. Marvin Guerra with his chance to get an escape and tie the match.
So what Marvin has to do, he can't hang out on bottom. He's got to move. You cannot let Will get settled on top to impose his will and his weight. Again, you know, I can't let him, I can't carry 500, 600 pounds. These guys are big guys. And I can't hang out down there. I got to get moving. Marvin has to move. He's got to change directions. He's got a knee slide. Heavyweights do a lot of like a quad pod stand-up. Start working to that situation to get to your feet. See, there it is. There's that quad pod I was talking about. He was a little overextended. That didn't allow him to adjust for some things.
Boy, being the bottom guy in this situation in a 285-pound match, it's tough to get up, especially in the third period.
So right here, Marvin's got to keep moving. He cannot let him break down. I got to get that wrist back. He's got that, Will's got that cross wrist. He's going to go to work now. Nice little cross wrist tilt there. So see what Will's doing there? He's driving him forward, he's making Marvin carry his weight. That's hard to get up. Oh, he's got that arm on the back. Oh, Marvin's got to get his arm back right there. He's got to limp arm that out, rotate that out. He's got 30 seconds. He's got to go.
Running out of time here for Marvin Guerra. And Will Greenberg, all he's got to do is hold on.
So this was a solid ride by Will. What he did there, he's keeping the pressure forward. He's driving him down. He's got a cross wrist. He's in no real danger of giving up a stalling call here for riding the hips. He's not really riding the hips there. He's working for a turn, and
And there it is.
That was a nice job, understanding the situation, and he just did what he had to do. That was a great ride.
Will Greenberg, your 285-pound Chagrin Valley Conference champion. Well, Coach, that's going to do it for us here in our championship round of the CVC tournament. Outstanding effort by everybody. We've got champions and runners-up now. And I believe we have some team titles to award. I know coming in, West Jaga was leading the Chagrin division. Trinity was winning the Metro division. And Perry was winning the Lake division, but that was real close with Madison. So it'll be interesting to see how that shook out here in the championship round. We are going to make a quick exit here as I've got to get some podium photos. So, Coach, I want to thank you for jumping in and providing color analysis. You did a great job of explaining what was happening on the mat. Appreciate you being here, and we'll have to do this again in February for Independence's senior night.
I look forward to it, and anytime you need somebody, and if I'm able, I would love to do it again. This was a lot of fun, and I look forward to senior night.
Outstanding. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. And thank you to all of you for tuning in. I want to give one more big shout out to our presenting sponsor of CVC TV, which is Ohio's Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. I'm Steve Hare, the CVC Sports Information Director, and that's a wrap, folks. And we will see you in next week with CVC TV with our basketball games. And good luck to all of the wrestlers as the postseason gets underway.